All right. Welcome, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started here. So first thing we have on the agenda is we all leveled up to level 5. So let's go ahead and get rolling on that. I'm going to go ahead and get the website loaded up, and then we'll start going through them. Does everyone remember where to go to actually level up their characters, or would you like some assistance?
I'm on my D&D Beyond page, but
Yep, go to your D&D Beyond page, and then from there...
Can you jog my memory again, sir?
Yeah, on your D&D Beyond page, there should be like a little anvil. Although they might have changed that recently.
Does it say go to builder?
Yep.
Yes, that's the one.
Go.
Yes, I'm there.
And then once you're on your builder...
I am loading.
Yeah, no worries. It usually takes you right to your class section. And then look for a drop down in like the top right.
It says like level or manage HP.
It should say level.
And then hit 5.
Yep, and then drop it down to 5. Correct. That is correct.
Yeah. Level 5.
Oh, but we got Dent.
There we go.
Dent, baby.
All right.
Nate, I picture you playing this
Level
soundtrack
5.
all the time. You chasing your kids to get them in the bath.
Hit points is 44.
I mean, I don't normally play for the kids because they right now are obsessed with like the Trolls soundtrack and the Frozen soundtrack, and the Moana soundtrack. Those are kind of the ones we have on rotation for them.
Moana's a strong soundtrack.
It's a great soundtrack. It's wonderful. If you don't sing to that, I think something is wrong with you. But
It's a pro Moana campaign.
yeah, I do play this a lot for just like writing, background noise. It's a nice one. I enjoy it. Okay, so Thad, I'm going to start with you because it looks like you already leveled. I don't think there was
I think I might be good, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think there was actually anything for you to do at level 5. Let me just
And no
check.
choices. I believe that my Burn Undead became Destroy Undead.
Mm-hmm.
I picked up a couple 3rd level spells, which is fun. And my hit points went up. I didn't roll anything for it, but D&D Beyond just kind of like hit.
Yep.
I'm good.
I have it set for all of you to just auto do it. So yes, that is correct. You are pretty much done. Yeah, clerics, I guess, are easy. The initial setup of cleric is what takes forever because you have to choose all your stuff up front. But after this, is pretty much just auto does it.
Right.
Okay, so
Check.
let's do Miss Rowena Stormwind. Manage levels.
Uncanny dodge for the 5th level.
Yeah, very cool. So that's gonna be a new like reaction that you can get. So just read through that. Feel pretty good about it.
Oh, shit.
You can use Uncanny Dodge a lot to like reduce damage. So you're gonna want to really start relying on this, especially and this is good for everyone to know. So 5th level is kind of considered the next tier of play, which basically means is not just you, but the creatures that you end up fighting end up a lot tougher. So just be aware.
So some of us may die, theoretically.
Dying is definitely a thing. I mean, we almost killed you the game before last, Mo. That was very, very close to happening.
If we die I have a question. If we die in the game, what happens?
Well, you die in real life.
You die in real life.
No, I was thinking about making that joke, and I didn't. No, I meant like, is it like, are you out of the campaign? You go back to like the starting point?
Yeah,
like,
good question. You can handle a lot of different ways. Technically, when you die, your character dies. There are some spells in the game, if you have access to them, where you can actually revive characters from the dead. There are places in the world you can try to seek out that you can try to revive characters from the dead, although there's a time limit on that. But in all honesty, usually when you die, and you typically recreate a new character, depending on your dungeon master where you are. You might start back at level 1. You might start back at a couple levels behind that. It just kind of depends on how it fits in the story element. We haven't gotten there yet, so we haven't made a hardcore decision. But I do try to play death rules pretty by the book because it's the only way that I think is fair. So if your character is dead, don't expect them to come back unless you guys have some kind of in-game tool set to do that.
Duly noted.
So yeah, Rowena, I think you're pretty much done. I don't think there's anything else for you to choose at this level.
Right. Is that something where if I'm in a battle situation, I'll say to you that I want to use the uncanny dodge if I get hit with an attack?
Exactly. So it's basically a reaction. We haven't used too many reactions yet, but like I think actually Ivo's character has a reaction already, like Hellish Rebuke, where basically if you get attacked, you take damage, you can call out and say, I want to use my reaction to do this. And then if it applies, you take half damage.
Sounds good.
I do.
I think so. I might be wrong. You might not be that kind of...
What would it be under?
Look in your actions or in your features, your racial features.
Racial feature? Oh, I guess I do.
I will look.
Okay, so Rowena is done. Thad is done. Ivo. Let's see what Ivo has. Manage levels. Level 5. Cool. Okay, so Ivo. Yeah, we're definitely going to want to talk about what you're getting. There's nothing really to choose, but it is a pretty big feature set for fighters. So at level 5, you get an extra attack. That doesn't mean you get an extra action.
I saw that.
It just means that you can basically swing with your weapon again. So it doesn't mean you get like a whole new action. It just means you can attack once with your action, and in that same action, attack again. Specifically the attack action.
So two different dice rolls.
Correct.
Dope. Okay.
I just want to double check while I'm here for you, though, as well, if you did actually have Hellish Rebuke. Because I thought all tieflings do, but I could be wrong. Wouldn't be the first time I've been wrong. It's a thing. It happens. Actions. Reactions. Oh, no, I might be wrong. Yep, not the kind of tiefling you are. Scratch that.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it before. I didn't recognize it.
Scratch that.
Okay, cool. And
because I think you get it from your Helm's Retribution.
Yes. That makes sense. And where does that live?
I think it lives in your actions, or it'll live on that equipment list.
Okay, cool. Oh, yes. Yeah. And I have Warding Flare as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah, go for it, Ivo.
My extra attack, does it have to be the same weapon, or can I do like attack with one of my attacks is the crossbow, one is my Shatter Spike?
I think it has to be with the same weapon, but I will double check.
Okay. I don't think it would come up a lot, but good to know though.
I'll make a ruling on this one. I can't find it specifically in the text. I'm pretty sure it has to be with the same weapon, but I'll allow this. If it's another weapon that you have already equipped and it doesn't require you to put the current weapon away, then yes, you can attack with a different weapon.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'll double check the rules and just see if that changes, but I would say for right now, either the same weapon or one that you don't have to like get out and get ready to go.
Cool. Perfect. Okay, cool. I think, is there anything else? I saw that popped up once I went to level 5. Is there anything else I need to do or that I've ever added?
Everything else looks like it's already done for you. No changes there. All of your equipment looks good. Your health points went up on their own, so that's great. So Zunis, let's check out yours.
Available at higher levels. Oh, I guess those are...
Looks like...
I have extra attack.
So you got the same thing that that Ivo just got on your class. You get an extra attack as well. Again, the big thing to remember there is it doesn't mean you get an extra action, so you can't like cast another spell or something. It's literally just an attack with your like your main weapon.
Do I need to hit the plus green side?
Shouldn't be anything on there. I want to double check that you have spells.
Some set.
Yep, all your spells are good. So you're all set on that one as well. Your health points went up. So yeah, you're set and good on that one too. So then last one is going to be Dent. Dent, I actually think yours does do something.
Lucky Dent.
I got the arcane firearm.
Yeah.
I prefer arcade fire.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Hey.
Hey.
What is this, a funeral? It's the first album, guys.
Was it Sprawl 2?
Hey, Mountains Beyond Mountains, dog.
I was jamming to some with the album with Reflector and Afterlife on and everything. I was listening to that the other day. It's really good.
Fletcher is such a good track.
Yeah, so that's going to be like a whole new feature set you're probably going to want to go through because you can make your staff or your rod or like one of your tools basically like do other things. So hold on one second. We'll go through that in a bit.
I read through it a little bit, but yeah, if you have any other insight.
Looks like all your spells are still good. So let's just look through that bit for you. I think it's going to be under features. Cannon. Your arcane fire with a spellcasting focus. Oh, cool. All right. Well, we'll just allow you to do this. This is going to be a little bit of like flavor and some mechanics. So basically, what it does is it lets you add damage. When you're rolling spell damage, it basically like turns your like the focus of your like weapon casting, your spell casting, also do additional damage as well. So it looks like you roll a d8 and it adds whatever damage of that spell type to it. So if you roll a spell that you have to like roll to hit with, and you hit, you do the spell's damage plus you add a d8.
Nice.
Just want to make sure when you finish that you turn along stuff. Yeah, as long as it's an artificer spell, which is basically all the spells you have. Cool. So I think for you, Dent, you're pretty much done. The only thing I might have you do is just double check your infusions. Just to get a good read through on how they work, because that's one of your like big mechanics.
What's that under?
It's in your class features under infuse item, and then artificer infusions. Yeah, you actually have a lot in here, so just make sure you're feeling good about reading through it, because there's a good array of things.
Sorry, I'm seeing infuse item from the second level under class features. Is that what I'm looking at right now? Okay, cool. So it's like infusions known, infusions in item. It's that whole paragraph?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. I know, we just didn't get a chance to go over it too much last time, so I just wanted to make sure while we were here you had a chance to read through it.
For sure.
Yeah, the artificer is a very involved class. Any of like the intelligence-based classes, it's like they're in real life joke that you have to be smart to play them as well.
You should have warned me.
It's much more funny this way.
You're just gonna have several moments in the campaign like, Dent, do you have anything that could solve this? I'm like, give me like 10 minutes to read. I'll be back.
I need to go through this novel of stuff. I do think that I did warn you of that though.
The way you explained so I'll put it this way. You explained it to me, but everything seemed so complicated at the time that I was like, I bet that everything's this complicated. And now that you're saying like this is one you have to be smart about. I was like, I knew that. I just figured that was all of them. I didn't realize there was like a dumb option.
you could have been a barbarian. I did say that was the dumb option.
That's fair. That's fair.
Nate, is there a link for the map?
Yes, I'll send that now.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Where is it? Web server. Shit details. My little one broke my iPad yesterday. And I was very upset with him.
What?
Yeah, he like threw it on the floor.
Oh,
It's okay. Good
this
Aperture
isn't
Plus.
helping me convince. This isn't helping me convince Matt to have kids.
Mo can say what he wants, but Mo wants children. I already know that he does.
Well, not during the pandemic.
I know he does eventually.
By the time you have the kids, the pandemic will be over, and kids are relatively safe from whatever this is, thank God.
That's saying.
I would rather just wait till the pandemic is over.
I mean, that's...
Oh, there's always going to be a reason to not have kids.
I
Yeah,
think
There's always gonna be a
pandemic's,
pandemic of some
pandemic's a
kind.
good one. Yeah.
But dude, like before pandemic, it was like, don't you remember how fucking terrifying Zika was? And everybody was like, oh, if you have a kid at all right now, its head's going to be fucked.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
Zika,
there's always
Zika was a
something.
scary one, because Maggie was pregnant when Zika was, like, there. And that one definitely,
Yeah.
like, oh, God.
That was like
this is gonna be weird.
specifically affecting kids. I had a friend who had a kid born during that time who had like a small head. And he was like, it's not Zika. They've tested negative for all the Zika shit. But the kid's head is like really fucking tiny.
Is it still tiny?
Yeah, what's up with that kid?
So I actually
Now we all
recently
wanna know.
spoke. I recently spoke to this friend. I spoke to him for the first time in like a couple of years, like on like a Skype chat, basically, like a week or two ago. And I was like, dude, I don't want to sound weird in front of everybody, but like, how's your kid's head? Is it better? and he said, yeah. He said, yeah. He's like, the head is like, he's like, it's still not big, but now it's like a normal range, small.
That's funny.
Yeah.
There you go. Happy ending.
Kind of weird. Just like come out looking strange. Normalizes.
I don't know if that's a great, like, advertisement for having children.
Here's the real truth,
Weird
though.
small head kid.
Normalizes.
Any kids, literally the best way I can put this, it is the most paradoxical juxtaposition of like complete joy and absolute terror. It doesn't matter what time, you'll never understand it, and at the same time you will never be happier, so you just have to go do it. You just have to start.
Well,
And
If you
I
ever
both
want
deep,
kids,
Nate. I
just
like
have
that.
kids.
We both want to make features, and then once we've made a feature apiece.
I mean,
the
if you
burning
want to
heads
have kids
both
when
up.
you're like 45, go for it.
Yeah, which women can't usually do.
That's what I'm putting out there in the world. Like,
You can make a feature after.
For
Realize
that.
it's a father.
let's all just
Those
be
are
pressuring
great.
Mo until he decides to have children.
I like that it's Mo that we have to pressure too.
I think Mo's just excited
Oh,
at the notion
good.
that he gets a feature made in the next like 15 years.
I just think he
I
gets
think
so
you
much
get so much
material.
material out of a kid.
all right. I'm not having a child for jokes.
Are you
Mo,
sure?
think of
Because
it-
they're really good ammunition.
I'm making a child so I can write a feature about it.
So you've already agreed. Then you have to have a kid before you can have the feature.
Yep.
Oh man, I can hear the people off of Twitch just logging off.
Hard log off. This guy's an asshole. It doesn't want to have kids.
Or maybe the viewers don't want to be lectured about their childbearing decisions.
Viewers chime in.
Are you guys able to get to the map? Is it working for you? I'm having some weirdness with it.
No, it says WebSocket disconnected.
I'm gonna restart
Yeah,
the
same
app.
deal.
This is being weird. I'm gonna restart the app.
I'm gonna get some more water. I'll be back.
Burp, 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 burp. Where's my maps? Maps.
Quick question for the other characters. I feel like we've been pretty good about keeping up with the dispersion of gold coin, correct? Because I know we've kind of come into some riches along the way. I have about 220 gold pieces. Does that sound about right with what everyone else? I just want to make sure no one else has like a large amount where you're like, oh, we should all have 1,000 gold pieces or something like that.
That's up to y'all. How you guys want to handle your gold is how you guys want to handle your gold.
I have
Well, I just want to make sure.
17.
How much?
217 gold and 580 silver.
Okay. I just know that we had gotten some, and then some people were like, oh, we're dispersed it. I just want to make sure that I think we all were good about adding it up and equally dispersing it. I just want to make sure I didn't miss any.
throw it
So
down.
if we all around that 200 level. It depends on how he does with that dog.
Yeah, I'm not giving him any money.
Yeah, he's got to prove himself.
Actually, speaking of which, I didn't give Dent any starting gold. Dent, I'm gonna do that. Hold on.
Let's do it.
Don't
Make
act,
Dent
like
great
act like you're getting a lot. You're getting what I think is appropriate for your character.
Ugh. Good luck.
I'm so sorry I got excited. I'll tamper down.
Yeah, could you?
Dent is an emotionless cold robot.
Now you get it.
Here's the other question I have. Where does Bernie end and Dent begins? You know?
I mean, that's a you decision, not a me decision.
Dude, are we
That's
all
the
there?
journey.
Correct. That's the magic. That's the magic of the game. Okay. I have that, and I have that, and I need to get you open, get my notes ready to go. All right, friends, we all in a good spot with our characters leveled. Everyone feel good? Any questions before we get rolling?
Should I have a kid?
Yes.
Definitively. I'm still reading through my crap, but I feel like I could be reading this forever, so I say we just go for it.
No worries. All good.
Ready.
Cool. All right. Well, welcome back then, adventurers. Let's pick up a little bit of where we left last time. That's probably why that's giving me such problems. In our last session, we left the town of Griffin after speaking with the innkeeper for a bit and trying to suss out where we wanted to go. You were kind of deciding between should we go after Kravitz, should we go after the person we believe to be Watcher Sim, and you're kind of discussing a little bit. At a certain point, you were kind of arguing with Bettany, who really wanted you to pursue who she believed should be her father as quickly as possible. The innkeeper basically shared, you've got a couple different ways to go. If you wanted to go over Kravitz, you can go to the Ladies' Wood, which is kind of nearby. If you wanted to get to Wadep, which is where this person supposedly went, you could take the high road, which will be the safest, but might be the longest route. You could take a shortcut though, which cuts across the south point of the island, south of Mount Wadep, but that's known to be a little bit dangerous. It's kind of one of the more rural areas of this place, and orcs have been spotted in this area. After some aggressive persuasions from Bettany, let's call it, you opted to acquiesce and take the southern road in hopes to be able to catch up with who you thought was Watcher Sim and get to Wadep.
Southern accent pop out there?
Did it? It might have. It happens. I told you this happens a lot. People don't believe me, but it happens from time to time. As you were walking along the southern edge of the island and passing by the foothills that kind of lead up to Mount Wadep, you heard some interesting noises that you couldn't make out, although it did seem like it was a language of some type. And trying to get a little bit closer to these voices and figure out what was going on, Ivo opted to kind of scout up ahead and try to climb up the hill. Clumsily, though, he did fall down the hill and roll into a very stiff, rigid metal object. This turned out to be a Erzatsarai robot, more or less, named Dent, who had somehow struck on his own. Wasn't exactly sure as to why, but he did claim that he was no longer part of the Erzatsarai, although it was very alarming. You communicated for a while, trying to figure out what he was doing here, what this was. He shared that he was searching for new magical items to grow in his own knowledge. It was a passion of his, and the folks who had trained him trained him how to create them, so he wanted to add to his repertoire. As this was happening, the arguments of these creatures behind the other hill continued, and you were able to see that they are actually 2 ogres fighting over what seemed to be a magical flying broom, to which that got Dent's interest very heavily piqued, and he asked for your aid in acquiring said broom.
I peaked.
Indeed. Bettany was rather pissed, but you guys were able to convince her that having someone in the inner workings of the Erzatsarai as kind of an inside man would be helpful. And so you all did decide to attack these things and steal their magical flying broom, which you did after not too hard of a battle. Bettany, I think, took most of the damage, followed by Thad. I might be wrong on that. But you were able to successfully fell the 2 giant ogres and the orcs that they were fighting. As they were fighting, though, they mentioned that the hag who they had stole the broom from told them not to come out of the mountain, kind of hinting that something was happening nearby. You all opted to take the broom and run because you didn't want to deal with whatever hag nonsense this was. And you were trying to quickly pursue Watcher Sim. So you got the broom, continued going towards Wadep. As you got closer to Wadep, a very familiar sight rose in the distance to Rowena, which is Castle Wadep, one of the big kind of castles that's not really in the city proper, but is a large fortress. As you were kind of going towards the city from the southern route, though, you saw that from the castle, a very fast-moving caravan was just taken off. And in your curiosity and not really being able to see that, Dent gave the broom of flying temporarily to Ivo, so he could fly off in the distance and try to see what this caravan was. No one seemed to be chasing the caravan. It was just odd they were fleeing the castle so quickly. As Ivo got closer, though, he immediately did a 180 as soon as he realized what he was walking into, because he saw a very familiar symbol, which I will actually show you because I think I have that now. Hold on a second. And it was basically the banner of the Lordless Crown, the mercenary organization that he used to be a part of. Let me see if I can get this shown for everybody. File. And the other thing that he saw while he was up there is not only did he saw his former mercenary guildmates, he also recognized the leader of this, a very brutal but, let's say, charming in a strange way, Red Dragonborn known as the Red Butcher, Valdru. And Ivo shared with the group that if the Butcher is involved with whatever this is, it is not good. It is probably a high priority target or whatever they are doing, because he is one of the higher generals, not the highest, but one of the higher generals in this organization. And he is known very well for his intelligence and his brutality. So you guys decided, let's not fuck with that now. And you continued into the city of Wadep. As you were going through the city of Wadep, Rowena recommended to everyone that you kind of lay low, not knowing where Jackson was or if he had you guys, if he had like a trail on you. And so you sneaked around until you went to an area known as Helm's Hall, which is more of a military district than specifically worshiping Helm, just there's a big temple to Helm there. And as you did this, someone grabbed Bettany from behind you. And as you chased after her in alarm, trying to figure out who had just kidnapped her, you saw that she was essentially being grappled by a figure. And as you got closer, you realized she's not being grappled, she's being embraced. And it was, in fact, her father, Watcher Sim, long reunited in a teary reunion. And he pulled you into his shack that he had basically stolen because no one was using it, and shared a little bit about what he had gone through, how he originally escaped through Erzatsarai, and how he got to where he was now. You guys all decided to go to sleep in this kind of small studio that you have, and that's where we'll pick up. We are picking up on the next day. You all wake in this space to the smell of food, actually. As you kind of awake, you see that in the corner where there's a bit of a... It's not even really like a stove. It's more of like a hot plate that's connected to a small chimney. So it's a small little source of fire and heat. And Watcher Sim is, in fact, cooking. On the table behind him, you turn around and you see that he's prepared a little bit of a meal for everyone. It's not much. He's pretty meager in his means right now, and he can't really go out and about because he's trying to hide his identity, but he has prepared a little bit of meal. And you all wake up to this food kind of sitting there, and you walk up, and that's where we will pick up, friends. What would you guys like to do or discuss with Watcher Sim as he sees that you have awoken?
What you making there, Sim?
Oh, I'm just making some breakfast for you guys. Figured you'd be hungry after your your travels. And he kind of looks over.
Oh, we are.
Yeah, please sit down and help yourselves. I know it's, sit where you are. There's probably not enough room at the table, of course. He kind of looks over and he sees that Bettany's still sleeping, and he notices you guys kind of look over and he says, just let her sleep. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
You two found each other again. Where will you go from here?
Well, truth be told, I hadn't really thought about it. I wasn't expecting for you to find me, or really anyone to catch up with me, much less my daughter showing up. So I guess we need to. I don't know. I feel like we need to figure out what's happening with the Erzatsarai and how deep this conspiracy goes. I don't know if I would have much more of a purpose than that, but they've clearly invaded Helm's organization, which is troubling and problematic in and of itself, but now I'm concerned that their roots go deeper.
And
You're probably right.
You are probably right. Have you been seeing any Erzatsarai presence here in Wadep? I seem to recall that perhaps they were the cause of the destruction of the mine, but maybe that's just a hunch.
What do you mean, destruction of the mine?
Mine, the portal that we all came through. You know it exploded, right?
Oh no, I did not. I left well before anything like that happened. If they destroyed it, it means they're... The only thing that I can surmise is they're covering their tracks. So that kind of concerns me even more. It tells me that we're getting closer to something. As far as seeing them here, I have not seen anything expressly. It's one of the reasons why I've chosen to stay close to Helm's Hall. If they are using Helm's organization in our spread throughout the islands as a staging grounds, this is probably the best place to start, but I'm not too certain. I have a old friend, actually, who lives in the city that has his ears to the ground more than I, and I was planning on seeking him out until Bettany arrived. Truth be told, I don't know if I would feel comfortable leaving her here without guarding her.
Who's your friend?
Who's your friend?
Let me tell you. Well, he's an old adventurer of mine. His name is Corvold. Corvold Hupperduke. He's a halfling. Like most halflings, he's pretty jovial, but don't let that fool you. He's a shrewd businessman. He owns a shop, actually an antique shop, near the knight statue in the center of the city. Actually, Miss Stormwind, he knows your father as well. Him and I and one other, we were an adventuring group. We did a lot of the things you're doing now, funnily enough. It's been a while since we've been together, like we mentioned, but he has his ears to the ground and his hands in a lot of pies, let's say. If anyone would know or have heard anything, it's probably Corvold.
Maybe we should come with you and go meet him.
Well, that's the thing. We aren't exactly on speaking terms. It's been a while since the band broke up, let's say. He doesn't dislike me, we just haven't spoken in many years.
That happens.
And again, I don't want to leave Bettany, and I don't feel safe having her just walk around town.
He'd be welcome to visitors, and perhaps do you have any sort of gift that might remind him of the good times of the past?
I'm sure if he just mentioned my name, he would speak kindly to it. I don't think he's an enemy. Just an old friend. I'm sure you can understand. There's probably been many people in your lives that, we're very fond of or very close to and just slowly grew apart. And the same was true with Luke.
But you really think... What about my father?
I mean, it's the same. I'm very sorry. I didn't know that he had passed, and we were friends for a long time, but we hadn't spoken in many years.
Well, he didn't get the send-off he deserved or needed, really, for such an honorable man. But don't you think that your friend Corvold will be welcoming of someone who wants to save the kingdoms?
I'm sure if you shared that message with him, then yes, he would.
What do we think, team?
No one told me what was for breakfast.
There are
I think we
eggs
should
and
go.
there are sausage. And water.
Let's do that, and then let's go to Humberduke.
The fish man
The fish man likes to eat Watcher.
Yeah, he's on a water diet.
Oh no, you don't have to tell me.
Hey.
You forget that we were together for 10 years. I know just how much Fishman likes to eat. I'm glad you finally made some friends though, Zunis. Your charm has certainly outlived you.
I love a good roast mid-game.
Always time for a little horseplay.
Do we have to gas up
Dent?
Well, Dent, he might not know, so I will share. Dent technically charges on his own. He doesn't really sleep. He just kind of takes some time to recharge.
Oh, right.
Can we check in on Dent's progress on that mechanical dog?
I got halfway done with the dog, I believe.
Yes. About 4
And I
hours
would-
into an 8-hour process of fixing the dog.
I'd like to begin fixing the dog for the next 4 hours.
You guys want to stay in the house for the next 4 hours? Or
No. I want to be clear here. I will stay in the house
Okay.
for the next 4 hours fixing this dog, regardless of group decisions.
Wow.
All right.
What an alpha.
Wow.
I think we should stick
Thank you.
together. So it's okay for us as long as Watcher Sim is okay with a little bit of company. I don't see why we shouldn't stay for those 4 hours as well.
Yeah, I don't mind. I think we all have a little more heart-to-heart we want to have with Watcher Sim.
For sure.
And I think we can get in a
Actually,
few more jokes while we're here.
Yeah, Watcher Sim, you've
Well-
got the floor. Do you want to roast us all?
Well,
Watcher
I don't
Sim.
know very many of you. I can say that Thad, it's not unsurprising to smell booze this early in the morning. Just seems to come out of your pores, my friend. And the only other one of you who has really made any impression of me, although it was a bad one, is your metal friend here. And quite frankly, I'm surprised he slept inside.
We just couldn't
raise the alarm by having this little robot man outside.
Oh, no, I know. I suggested it. I'm just upset about it.
Watcherson, your skills in the humoric craft is undeniable.
Yeah, well, you live as long as I have, you learn how shitty people can be. So
You did seem like you were pretty old.
I shouldn't seem like it. I should look like it. I guess they didn't really give you that particular bit of analysis for your ones and zeros, friend.
No,
Sam,
Mo-
Well,
Are we getting roasted now?
So you guys gonna eat and like chill here for 4 hours? Because this place is a little cramped.
No.
It's all good.
I actually would like to do a little shopping
Okay.
of myself, for myself. And are we in like I don't know if we can get a map DM of kind of where we're at as far as like, because I know we kind of got away, I think, a little bit from the city, or are we just like, what's the neighborhood and
Yeah, you're
kind of what's
still
around?
You're still in the city. Let me show you here. So I've got the city loaded up for you, and you are. So if you see where number 7 is, that's Helms Hall. Yeah, that's Helms Hall. You're like
still
closer
loading.
to the center. So let me get some markers here for you guys. So you guys are about here-ish, like in just an alleyway. The knight statue where Corvold's shop is, which Watcher Sim shared with you, it is, I think, Corvold's Antiquities. Oh, no, it's the Halfling's Lucky Find is what we named it. The Halfling's Lucky Find, and it's an antique shop close to the very center of the city, where Rowena knows that there is a giant ancient statue of a knight with like armor and a sword, and that's like here-ish in that area. There are other shops near the knight statue as well. A lot of the shops are kind of in the center area. Kind of depends on what you're looking for. The best places to shop in the city would probably be a mix. Again, it depends on what you want to buy. I'll give you like a quick rundown because Rowena would know this city really well, and Ivo, you'd probably know a pretty good amount too. Helms Hall is really like a military and legal district. It's not particularly meant to honor Helm in general. It's just Helm is like the god of protection and guardsmen, and so a lot of that stuff kind of circles around itself. So it's just called Helms Hall for the whole district. Number 2, we'll just go in that order there, is an area called Portal Lake. That's kind of one of the more rundown areas of the city. It is kind of on the waterfront, but the waterfront is like used mostly for shipping and barging. There's a lot of man-made canals that lead to another area of Wadep, the island. A lot of warehouses and storehouses line up this lake. And barges come in and out, just transferring goods. Rowena would know this. There is a pretty big syndicate of the Deep Shadow in Portal Lake. So the Thieves Guild operates in this area pretty extensively. Next to Portal Lake is kind of the industrial sector. That's a place called Factory Park. And Factory Park, it's an industrial area, but not in kind of a like pollution-y way. It's actually kind of high-end, innovative, think more like Silicon Valley kind of way. A lot of the big upstarts and big companies in the whole of Yaren actually headquarter here. There's one big one that Rowena would know before she left, and it was a company called Risen Works. This company has basically existed almost since the Raising began, and they specialize in creating airships. The other areas are like residential spaces of varying degrees of like affluence. The Grand Plaza is a very is a really well-to-do area, but it's a little bit more middle class. There's a lot of shops in the Grand Plaza as well that would sell a wide range of things, but also some higher quality goods. And then the realm of the First Rays, that's like where number 6 is. That is almost completely aristocratic families, royalty of this area, like leadership of this area. It's called Realm of the First Rays because for almost the entirety of Yaren, only first raised families were allowed to live in this space. Before you left, Rowena, you would know this. Some of the first raised families that were not so good with their money were allowed to rent some of these houses to other well-to-do families that had enough money to pay like this exorbitant rent. So it's not just first raised anymore, but by and large, it is just first raised families in this space.
And my family was one of the first raised families that wasn't so good with their money.
Correct. So you would absolutely know this, that if Jackson is in your estate, he is likely in this space. He might not be there when you go look, but that's where your estate was, and if he's holding your estate, that's where he'd be.
He might be with his girlfriend, Lena.
Well, Lena is in Castleton, because she's the leader of that city. So that's a little further out.
Okay. Well, guys, I have a lot of friends in Portal Lake with the Deep Shadow. We just have to keep it on the down low. And also, it's the Thieves Guild. They might try and steal from you, but once they see it's me, I think they'll be good to us.
And that's on the way to Corval.
Corvold would be closer. Because Corvold
Well, we can go to Corvold and then swing around to Portal Lake on the way home.
Sounds like we got our day set out for us.
Where is the Corvold at?
Right?
Corvold is almost like right where number 3 is. He has a shop, the halflings like to find, almost directly across from the Knight statue.
Certainly.
Okay, so I guess I'm just kind of talking to the group in general. I think I want to, or I don't think, I want to purchase some sort of binoculars or like some sort of telescope spyglass type of deal. I think after last adventure of not being able to see too far away and having to ride the not the magic car, but the broomstick, while it worked, I think it'd be good to be able to have a little bit of further eyesight into the world. So it'd be nice to try to find that in the city to make a purchase, but maybe going to the halfling, to his shop, maybe he would have, even though if it's an antique, it would still work to have some sort of binoculars or spyglass. And if not, maybe we can find something with Rowena, with your people, maybe trade for something within the Partial Lake.
I think that's a great idea.
All right. I mean, do we get, you're still working away on that dog for the next? 3 hours,
Listen,
3 or so.
I'm here with this dog. We're gonna get it done. You guys go buy whatever binoculars you need to buy. I'm here. This is me right here.
Dr.
right,
Sim, before we go, can you tell us, as your investigation and your journeys, have they evolved the Lordless at all? Do you think that the Lordless are involved with any kind of conspiracy that you've been investigating?
Oh, I mean, you mentioned it. I did see them in the city.
They're in the city.
They were. I saw them maybe a couple days ago. I saw the banners. I mean, everyone on Yaren, that's been at least around the military or military organizations would know of the Lordless. The Lordless Crown operates on almost every island. I did see their banners not that long ago. Whether they're still here or not, I don't know. When I saw them, they were walking through the area of the first raised. And I don't tend to stay in that space. Just given my appearance, of course, I probably wouldn't be very welcome there, and I'd stick out. But Supreme Watcher Tion, when he was alive, before you killed him, nice job, by the way, he didn't mention anything of like having anything with the Lordless Crown. That being said, the Lordless Crown will do just about anything for money, so they may have unknowingly been hired by the Erzatsarai, but I can't confirm for sure that they have.
Thanks, Dr. Sim. We appreciate your hospitality.
Of course, you're welcome to use the space whenever you need to. I know it's not very much, but if you just need a place to return to, you're welcome to it. I don't know if you're looking for anything specific, or if you need more housing. There's probably a few places in the Porter Lake district that you can find at least a home that's, let's say, affordable. Nicely.
Are we gonna go buy a house together?
Watch real world VR.
And Ivo, if you are looking for binoculars, something so mundane isn't typically what Corvold would carry, but it's possible he has something special in that regard. He does tend to find, let's say, arcane antiques often. So it's
Go
not
talk
impossible.
to
Well,
If you need something more basic, I would say the Grand Plazas, and the center of the city likely has a few shops you can check out. Something not too far from where Corvold is. It's probably likely.
Well, thank you. That's really good to know. Let's see what he has, and if it's a little too fancy for my taste or what I need, then I can go elsewhere. But I'll see what if he has something special or something else I could lend a hand to, being more than just binoculars and seeing far. But thank you for the heads up.
No worries. Okay, well, I guess it's gonna be me and the robot and Bettany.
I'd watch that for 4 hours.
I have a suspicion. That's because you have no taste. Anyway, I'll see the rest of you later. If you could do me a favor, Dent,
right.
I would like you to roll an intelligence check. And then you're going to add your proficiency bonus. You're going to roll it at advantage for me, though, because you know very much what this metal creature is that you're trying to fix and put back together.
Apologies.
Okay.
Second. I don't know why I'm messing up this dice. Do I click intelligence and then hit the... Shouldn't I just be able to click the intelligence button on this thing?
Yep, just where the number is.
Yeah, I'm seeing 16 and I click it and it just shows me my intelligence score. Maybe I'm on the wrong page.
Maybe
It's just the right page.
So
modifier,
don't click on 16. Click on the button above it. So it should for you say +3.
Oh, the plus
For my
3.
meal kit delivery, yeah.
My bad. I got a 5.
5. Roll it again because you're rolling at advantage. So you're going to roll it twice and take the higher number.
4. That's with the +3.
Woof. Okay, so that's great.
I literally rolled a 2 and a 1.
So you are really struggling with this. You have a suspicion it's going to take you at least another 4 hours on top of the 4 hours. So like another full day to fix this thing and put it together.
Wow.
Oh my god.
The struggle is it doesn't really matter because everyone else is left and you don't know where they've
Yeah,
been.
no, I mean I'll be here. It's you. It's me and my boy Watcherson.
That's right. Watcher Sim.
Watcher Sim.
Watcher is his title. His last name is Sim.
Let me ask, while I am fixing this, can I learn more advanced wit so that I can have better retorts against Watcherson? Is there some way to access some sort of an online database of wit?
No.
Like the Matrix?
That's all you, dude.
You're just gonna practice? I don't know. And also, is Dent, I guess the question is Dent particularly witty? Do you see him as a witty man? A witty?
No, I don't. But it never seemed like an issue until Watcherson over here just started roasting me.
Well, that's
First, you have to go to open mics for years and years.
just gonna practice. So for the rest of the group, you do make your way, and as you kind of walk through the city, you do get to the center of the city, which is, it doesn't really have its own like name. A lot of people just say like, we'll meet at the night or head towards the night, because the night, this giant statue is ancient. It's been here since before the raising, but also it's so huge. It's such a clear marker. What's very odd about just the city of Wadip, though, that you start to notice for the people that haven't been on this island before, is this city is almost on a bit of a crater. It's not super like steep like that, but you notice as you walk more towards the center of the city, it kind of tapers inwards, and there's a slight slope that almost seems to end right where the knight statue is. As you get there, you can see pretty well like the view of the city, and it's pretty mesmerizing. Like it's like jam-packed wall to wall buildings of various sizes, some big, some small. You do notice a pretty clear difference though as you get closer to the center of the city where the knight statue is. From the area that you left of Helm's Hall, you can kind of tell that the architecture here in the center of the city is much older. The stone color is much more is much like more white. It looks like it's been eroded. Any facade or paint that's been on this has been stripped away. The style of the building's a little bit different. You can tell the architecture here looks like it was built differently. The stones that kind of hold up the corners are bigger, whereas the other ones are kind of more modern and symmetrical. But you do find the knight statue very easily. You can make almost just a beeline to it. It doesn't take you more than probably about a half hour to an hour's walk. And as you get to the knight statue, lo and behold, as you kind of look where the knight statue is facing, as Watcher Sim described, if you just kind of look directly where it's facing in that direction, you'll see a kind of small building crammed between two larger buildings. It's almost strange because the other two buildings are like 2-story, 3-story buildings. And the halfling's lucky find is a 1-story, very small, very quaint stone shop with a door out front. And above, almost in like a weird way to make it look like it was bigger, but not. It's almost like a billboard was attached to like the front entrance. And it says in like big gold letters, it's very ostentatious, it's very gaudy, and it says the halfling's lucky find. And sitting on a pot of gold is a little halfling with like a jeweler's loop, inspecting some of the gold pieces.
Oh my god.
I love it.
Hope they sell t-shirts.
And
Shall we go meet this halfling?
Yeah, let's go.
And
so you guys walk into this space, and as you look around, you notice it is crammed with tchotchke. There are shelves, there are like hooks, like everything is just covered in a thing. Almost all of it's covered in dust. You kind of look around and you have a very hard time telling if anything is valuable or junk. You assume most of it is junk. There might be a few good finds, but it basically looks like a flea market crammed into like a 30-foot by 30 space. Along the far wall, though, you can see that like an aisle has been cleared all the way to the back that ends in a pretty big table display with a glass panel in front meant to hold some of the nicer things, you assume. But behind the display is a woman. You don't see a halfling at all. You see a very slim, not very tall, kind of average height, but very, very slim woman with long, like so blonde it's almost white hair, although she doesn't look very old, with incredibly pointed ears. And so you recognize right away that this woman is an elf. Not a half elf, like a full-on elf, which is strange for all of you. None of you have actually seen an elf so far in this adventure. And in fact...
Call them a midget.
I would like everyone to roll a history check for me. Just to see how much of elf culture you understand.
15.
19.
11.
7.
So anyone who rolled more than a 12, I'm going to do this way. Anyone who rolled less than a 12, just right away you're very mistrusting of elves. You grew up in an environment where mostly elves were seen as mysterious in a negative sense, mostly reclusive. For anyone who rolled more than a 12, you kind of understand a little bit of the reasons and the history behind it. Elves of this world are not particularly thought of fondly. Not many of the elven cities, in fact, only one of them, was actually saved in the Raising. So there were a lot of big places for elves to congregate. For that, they kind of turned inward and became very reclusive. They really only speak freely or talk freely in large groups when they're with themselves. For that reason, elves throughout the millennia that the islands have been floating have been considered ambivalent, untrustworthy, having something to hide, and in many cases they're ostracized. There only are a few places where they're really not stereotyped, and one is actually the only real elven city that exists in all of Yarn that's like really run by elves. The major population race is elves, is a city called Hasp, which actually is on Tharvan, the island you guys left. It's on the very eastern side of Tharvan. Half-elves are also kind of considered with mistrust, and they have a harder time fitting in. In this space, typically the half-elves tend to lean more on their human sides because they're a little bit more accepted that way. So seeing an elf in the city running a shop is a little bit strange.
And the people that roll above a 12 are just okay with elves?
I mean, I'll let their own character development decide if they're against elves or not. But you have a level of mistrust for any elf.
So I'll go ahead and approach this elf. Hello, good morning. Is the proprietor of the shop in today? Is he in the back room or something? Could we speak with him?
I own this place.
I guess the other proprietor?
Sure. Yeah, hold on one second. Corvold, honey, they don't want to talk to me. And so you see from around the corner, a halfling comes by, kind of looks up at her and then looks at you and he goes, "Is there a problem?"
No problem. We just need to talk to you.
Yeah, I just want to...
you want to talk to me specifically? You don't think that's a bit of an issue? This is my wife. She can handle whatever is happening here just fine.
Oh, trust me. I am no self-hating woman. I respect a woman who owns her own shop, especially on Wadap. We have a specific message for you, Corvold.
Oh. Okay. Raywena, just watch the door for me if you could. And so you do hear that he calls his wife Raywena. And she kind of saunters off, gives you a little bit of eye roll. Rowena, you don't have anything hiding your face, do you?
Oh no, I know.
As she walks by you, and she gets a good look at your face, she kind of looks at you and then immediately like does everything she can to just not make eye contact. And kind of walks.
DM, I have a question.
Yes.
How much do I look like my father?
A lot.
Okay. Well, hopefully that's helpful.
What's your dad's reputation, maybe? Positive, negative?
Positive, but ineffectual, and my family had squandered all their money, but that wasn't exclusively his fault. That was a generational thing. And people liked him, but I think they weren't confident that he was a strong pillar of society. And then when he died, people were sad, but like I alluded to earlier, he never really got the send-off, the funeral he deserved, because it was a murder and it was covered up.
Quite a bit of backstory. Perfect.
I like Rowena's backstory. It's a good one.
I do too.
We may or may not add more to it, depending on how this conversation goes.
I'm into it.
So, so you see, she somehow recognizes you, walks off. You get very strong inclinations that she recognizes you, and you're now addressing Corvold, who kind of again looks at the group and says, "Okay, what's this message? I guess."
Luke Stormwind.
Oh. Are you his? You must be. You look just like him. And then, like, in the middle of this phrase, he's like, oh. And he, like, just briefly flits his eyes at Rowena. And then, he's back to you, and he's all smiles. He's super happy. He's like, it's so good to meet you. Like, I was so sad to hear about your father's passing. He was such a good friend. We had a lot of good times.
I'm beginning to learn about that. And what would you say if I said I've also just made the acquaintance of one Watcher Sim?
Oh, okay. That's cool. I mean, is he like around? Does he need something? He's not dead too, is he?
Well, no, but he needs our help.
Oh. Okay. I mean, I don't know what help I can provide. It's just me and my wife in the shop, and I mean, does he know that Rowena was here? Did he send you here knowing that? It's not important. Don't worry about it.
I didn't know. He didn't tell us that.
Wait, why would it matter if your wife is here?
Well, roll a persuasion check, Ivo. And I'll give you advantage. I'll say Rowena's helping you with this because she's asking the same kind of question.
Okay. Good, because I rolled a 1 on that first time.
Great.
Oh my god! I rolled a 2.
No reason.
That's the same thing that happened to me.
No reason.
I'm
Not
at
a big
a
deal.
7. I got +5, so I'm at a 7.
Yeah, not a big deal.
Ugh.
Yeah, just Rowena was with our group too. I just thought he might remember her. That's all. No big deal.
That's weird. Her name
That's
is
good to
so
me.
close to mine.
Yeah, that's super weird that your name is really close to each other. I can't imagine why that's a thing. No clue.
Is she like my half sister?
Just come out with it.
No. It's a long story, and I just don't want to make it weird. And then finally, like, Rowena pops in, and she's like, "It's okay, Corvold. I'm over it. You don't need to worry about it anymore. I'll tell her." And so Rowena kind of addresses you, and she goes, "Listen, I can see it right away. Like, you've got that stupid red hair from your mom, but your eyes are all your father. He and I, back in the day, used to be a bit of a thing. And it was special. And the rat bastard abandoned me for your mother and then left because he had to go do something with his family or some bullshit and live up to his name."
Well, I'm glad he stuck around for my sake.
Yeah, I'm glad he stuck around for your sake too. And you see Corvold kind of go over and like grab her arm, and he like pats her on it. He says, "Don't worry, sweetie. I'll never leave you, and I loved you more than him anyway."
And so then you met his adventuring party partner.
What's that?
Well, you met his friend. You met Corvold, or you were all part of the group.
Yeah, we were all in this together. You know, we all adventured and left, and Luke was adamant that he was done with his old life and wanted nothing to do with it, and wanted to go make a name for himself, and instead he died, pretty much penniless. So,
What
tough shit for him,
caused
I guess.
you to decide to leave the adventuring life and settle down with this shop?
He did. He left. He left, and we just really didn't see a need in continuing on. He was a big part of what made us successful, and I was heartbroken. I know it's a very awkward thing to say to his daughter, but I was, and here we are. Corvold was a good man. He always wanted to have a shop in the city. He wooed me with his charm.
Oh.
So here we are.
Dent.
There's-
Well, and he took your name, or a variation thereof, for me.
Well, I didn't know that until you mentioned it, so I guess that makes me feel a little bit better about myself. I guess he loved me at least a little bit.
I don't know what my mother would think about that, but I think she's got bigger troubles.
Yeah, I don't really care what your mother would think about that, so...
Let's not blame women for men's malfeasance.
Sure.
I'm very happy that you've landed on your feet. And if we get to know each other, I hope you'll find I have the best qualities of my father and not the worst.
I'll have to take your word for it.
Well, okay, now that we got that under control. Wait, DM, quick question. I might have asked you this before. Is my mother also dead? I don't think there was anything about this.
No,
Yeah.
your mother and your sibling is still alive.
Okay, cool. That's what I thought.
At least to your understanding of what happened when you left. They were not dead then.
Okay. Also, this might be a bit of a reach, but there was a guy named Rowan at the pub after we ran out of the mine. Is he also one of my father's sons?
No. That was an improvised name that I had to come up with quickly.
Luke was pansexual.
Luke was all over the place.
Well-
Luke just liked everybody.
I know this is incredibly awkward, and trust me, I want to excavate my cloudy background as much as you probably want to do to yours. But there are bigger issues at hand right now.
Okay. Are you here to like buy something, or you said you needed to tell him? Just like whatever it is. Like, let's just cut to the chase here, huh?
Okay, well, also, first of all, let's get one thing out of the way. Let me say this sotto voce, because I don't want people to hear. But, you know my father was murdered, right? You know, this isn't a consequence of his own, what's the word I'm looking for? His own malingering.
Whoa.
Well, that's not quite what... It's not quite the word on the street, so...
I know it's not the word on the street because my good-for-nothing bastard of a fiance controls the means of the word.
You see, she kind of like... She feels like she has a very good understanding of that particular feeling. And she goes, well... I guess men sometimes can be real bastards, can't they? So, I'm sorry about your dad.
Can be united in that. And just think, I know, well, I don't want to presume where you've been in your life or what hardships you've gone through, but at least your ex-fiance didn't kill your father.
I just want to say Luke killed her dad, but he didn't. It's fine. So I guess you're right. I'm sorry. I don't mean to take it out on you. Just I haven't thought about Luke in a long time, and there was a lot of anger when he left, and I wasn't expecting it. But I am happier now. Corvold is a good man, and he treats me well, and I love him. I just wasn't expecting to see Luke staring at me today. That's all.
That's fine. I'm learning a lot about my own background right now too. So again, I hope in some ways we're united. Now, team, you want to take it away and tell Corvold and other Rowena why we're here?
Well, I would like to inquire about purchasing something from your store.
Okay, well that's definitely more my speed. And you see, just like the halfling like jumped on off his stool, and he like it's almost funny how it just like he clearly is like used to talking to customers behind this thing, because as he walks around, he like was obviously stepping on a stool that he just like jumped off of and like lost another foot of height as he walks out. And he's like, "So, what can I do for you? What are you looking for?" And he's like walking you around the room. He's like got his arm on the small of your back because that's all he can reach. And he's like, I've got tons of things here. I've been collecting for a long time. Some of this stuff is really top-notch magical things. Whatever you need, I've got in the halflings find. Take your pick. And I'll even give you the old adventuring discount.
Oh, what is that?
We'll decide when you're buying something.
Dungeon Master. I have a quick question. Are they more than a mile away from where I am right now?
No.
I would like to. I would like to put the appropriate amount of gold that Clayton's character needs into a sack, tie it to the broom, and then send the broom over to them so that he can purchase the item.
Okay, you don't know how. You don't know what he needs yet. You can just send him a random amount of gold if you want.
I'd like to send him a random amount of gold.
Okay. How much are you sending? Are you sending a note or anything in this?
The note says, buy the best version of what you would like.
Do me a favor, and I just want you to roll a straight D20.
A straight D20.
Could this be intercepted?
I love that
someone?
Bernie is like the wild card now that he's been brought into the mix.
Oh my god. A 2.
Nothing gets there.
Oh.
But the broom has a 1 mile radius.
It sure does. Sure does.
Okay,
it doesn't invisibly travel.
Ivo, were you hurting for cash?
Dan, I don't think so. I mean, I don't even know how much I don't know prices here, Jaron. Wait, so did the broom even come back, or did Dan the broom?
Yeah, that's my question.
I would say up until this point, the broom has not returned. You do not know what happened to the broom or the gold. So how much gold were you giving him? And don't lie.
I was going to give him something like 5 coins.
Oh, well, it wasn't a lot anyway. 5 gold coins. All right. Yeah, the broom is not returned. You rolled a 2, you said. Okay. All right.
I'm not rolling well today.
I mean, it was a risk. It could have been really good. I just didn't.
I rolled 3 separate times today, and I rolled a 2, and a 1.
Bound for some luck, dog.
Ivo, it is your go.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that weird interruption. I'm looking for some sort of binoculars or spyglass, something to help me see.
Okay, yeah.
By my sight a little bit further, as far as I can. Nothing too crazy. I don't know. Actually, looking around your shop, I'm not entirely sure if I'm in the right place. But you can.
No, you're always. And as you like turn around to go, he like pulls it back. He's like, no, you're always in the right place, and the halfling's fine. We've got tons of things for you. Hold on 1 second. Let me just see if I can go find something for you. And he's like he's just like rummaging through everything. You see things flying back and forth. He does like pull out a spyglass, and he's like, oh, and then he sees it's cracked and just chucks it. Doesn't really care about it anymore. And he just keeps going. Let me see. Let's see what we've got. I know there is one thing that does that. Where is it? it's that. I'm just gonna try to find this thing real quick. So you wanted it, and you see that he actually does pull something out, and it looks like it's less like a spyglass and more like a pair of goggles. And he says, "These will help you see things far away, if that's kind of what you're looking for."
Yeah, that's exactly
But they're
it.
really special and very rare.
Why do
Not
they?
easy to find.
What's so special about them?
Well, they just aren't easy to make. You have to have someone with the right, say, arcane ability to create something like this.
I'm sorry. Does that mean it's magical?
Yes.
How so?
Well, it will, like I said, if you're trying to spot something or see something, it will help you locate that. Or it'll help you make out something.
Can I try them out?
Sure. And he kind of gives them to you to put on. Step outside. Try to find something. Try to look at something. Try to see something.
Okay. So do I notice? I'm assuming I don't really notice anything different if DM once I put them on, right? They seem like just normal goggles.
When you do
like
put them on,
nothing in the room is magnified.
It's not so much that it's magnified, but the colors seem to be a lot brighter.
Okay. So I'll go outside and let me get up the map here. I'll go outside and say, well, we're kind of in the middle of the city, so it's kind of hard to see too far, I'm assuming. But could I try to see back to where were we before? We were at Helms Hall, right? Before.
Mm-hmm.
Could I try to look, maybe down a corridor or an alleyway or a street to try to see back to where Watcher Sims' place was, and just try to see as far as I can?
Yeah. So you have these things on, and you kind of look down there. Can you roll a perception check for me? And you see, like you actually kind of feel behind you too as you exit and you walk out that Corvold has followed you, and he kind of has his hand. And he's like, "Now, just know they work better once you've used them for a bit. You might have to get used to them. They might not be perfect right now, but if you want to give them a shot, feel free to give them a shot."
All right. 13.
13. It's a little hard to make out, just because it's not perfect yet, but you are damn near positive you see like a group of kids, and one of the kids seems to be like floating down an aisle, like down an alleyway. Like he's got like
Whoa.
feet and head above the other children that he's messing with.
So I described this to Kobold and be like, this is kind of weird. This is what I'm seeing. But what am I looking at?
I don't know. I can't see that far away. You have the goggles, not me.
All right. So am I using these wrong, or can you give me a little bit more of a description of? Sell me on these. I'm still, I don't know. They seem just like trick glasses. They seem like the ones you put on and you spin around and they look like different things moving around. I don't know. I kind of just want to be able to see far away, and now I'm seeing like floating kids.
So you take the goggles off to kind of like
doing
figure out what it was that you were looking at. And like you can tell what you were looking at was probably like almost a quarter mile away. And like when you take them off, you can't see out anything. You just see the alleyway. And so like you
so I'm like seeing through it.
It wasn't so much that you saw through it, you just saw far. Like, it's a relatively clear shot. You just couldn't make it out because it was, to your normal eyes, it was very fuzzy and blurry. When you put those goggles on, you could really clearly make out, even at a distance, what it was.
Oh, well now, sir, that I've taken these off, this is a drastic difference. Okay, is there anything, I don't know, is there any, I'm not really a magic guy. Is there any, like, negative effects on this? Like, could this hurt me in any way? Like, I don't know, should I be concerned of it, like, giving me glaucoma or something? All right. Well, how much are they?
What a great question. I don't know. Do you have an offer you could make me? What do you think they're worth?
How much do I got? Well, I'm assuming you take gold coin, correct?
Of course. Who doesn't?
How about 5 pieces of gold coin?
Nice
he
with
is,
that room guy
he is
here.
very taken aback. He's like, listen, son, if that's a joke, I'm willing to laugh, but you're not even close. Try multiplying that by, like, I don't know, 100?
Whoa.
This
So
is a
you're
rare
saying
magical artifact.
these are-
Not everyone can get one of these.
I mean, that's fair, but I don't know if people are actually all, I don't know how much people want this. If it's just been buried in your shop for so long, I don't feel like it's a hot ticket, trendy item. And you said there was going to be a discount as well, right?
You're right. I'm sorry. How about I knock that off by 20%? I'll tag it down to 400 gold pieces.
Wow.
400 gold pieces.
I mean, it's really cool.
Well, the thing is, I don't know if I'm not going to say I don't have that much money, but I'm going to say I'm not willing to spend that much money today. I don't know. Would you take, well, I don't even have that much to trade with now that I think of it. Yeah, I think,
Thad
What else
comes
do I
out of the
have?
store, and if he ever sees this, he says, let's just walk, Ivo. You don't need it.
Listen, guys, I want to help you out. I can see that you're struggling a bit. The lowest I will go on this particular thing is 350 gold pieces. That's a hefty discount.
for me, it
Let
feels
me
a
help you
little
out.
steep
That's all I'm saying.
still.
Let me help you out. 350 gold pieces is not that bad.
How about in the spirit of us being
great.
somewhat family now, what if we say 50 gold pieces?
It's one word
Wow.
for it.
I mean, no one will fuck you more than family, I guess. But no, I couldn't do 50. That would be much too low. Listen, I will give you the price I would have given Luke. That's 250 gold pieces. That's half off. That's pretty good.
Rowena comes out of the store and says, "We have some news for you, but we won't give it to you until you discount the item further."
I can't go more than half. Half is my baseline. I'm really sorry, guys.
DM, can we do some kind of knowledge check or history check to see the actual value?
Roll an Arcana check on this item.
Me or Clayton?
You were the one that was asking, so if you want to find out the price of it,
Yeah, I'm -1. I'm bad. I do really wish I had 5 extra gold pieces of coin randomly show up in this instance.
Can I ask the DM a question real quick?
Sure, yeah.
I've been reading through this broomstick situation. I feel like I could be able to call it back to me according to the description.
That's
Can I-
true.
I would like to call the broom back to me using the magic words hither and thither.
Okay, roll a d20 again for me.
Well, that's not going to work for me. Come on.
just let's see what happens. Roll the dice. Just a straight d20.
Straight D20 again. 6.
6.
6.
All right, so you
Slowly
hear
working.
on the door of the shack what sounds to be a young adolescent boy crying.
Oh God. Okay. I open the door.
Out on the door, seated on the broom, freaking out, is like a 12-year-old, 13-year-old boy who somehow intercepted and sat on the broom. The gold is gone.
Of course.
This kid is just. I'm sorry, I didn't know. I didn't know it was yours.
I push the boy off the broom and I reclaim the broom.
And he just runs. He's not even like looking. You freaked him out. You're a giant robot. He takes off. And like Watcher Sim is in the background, just like, what?
Right, because me and Watcherson have history, and he's like, of course.
You're such a fucking idiot. Ugh. By the way, Clayton, that's what you saw in the alleyway. It's a small group of boys fucking with the.
Oh, and he was. Oh, okay. He was floating. That makes sense now.
I rolled an 18 on my Arcana check.
So this is truly a magical item. You can tell with that like whatever this does actually helps you perceive things in the world and see things from a distance. You can kind of tell by the way that it's carved. In fact, let me show you. Hold on one second. Un momento, friends. Let's see if I can give you an example of this. Eyes. Here, I'll put it in chat. I think I've got it up somewhere. Where are you? Where are you? Okay, so in chat, hopefully it'll let me drag and drop from here. No, of course not. This is basically what it looks like. And you can tell by the eagle motif of this item that it is meant to help you see like a bird of prey.
Ooh.
And it would increase your perception.
Oh, dope. That was dope. Okay, so
For my money, if you need Ivo.
You can also
well,
work as a
I'm.
bonus.
I guess the question then, God, what is your name? Kobold. You know, I understand. Yeah, I understand this is, you know, now that I've heard this from my friends that this is worth something. You know, I still don't want to spend a ton of money. Could we do 100 gold pieces? And then I am not only am I a mercenary and a fighter, but I'm also having to be a strong character, a strong person. Do you need any sort of other work done or any other, basically some muscle to accomplish anything in the store, or maybe scare off some hooligans who've been messing with, you know, maybe defacing your beautiful marquee here? Maybe I can help pay my way for this in another way other than just the 100 gold coin.
Well, I don't know. I don't really have enemies. No one really doesn't like the halfling, you know? It's a pretty
Could we
popular spot.
I'll donate some money to you, Ivo.
Yeah,
I don't know if
will.
anyone else. I know you're good for it. You've gotten me out of a lot of binds.
Oh wow.
I've got 134. 3 to 30.
Okay. So
Pitch 50 your
Right,
way,
yeah,
friend.
oh, okay.
Should I just take it down and then
80. So I guess Kobold is, if you just want pure money, then what is your final offer? I think you said what, 200?
250. It's half off of
How much
I
more
heard
do you-
200.
Oh, if we all give.
Listen, guys, you haven't even
And
told me what
50.
you're here for. All we've done is talked about what you wanted to buy. Like, maybe if you give me a little more
Yeah.
detail here, I can set up a layaway
Trust
plan or something. I don't know. Maybe I can get in on
I
whatever it
was
is you're
trying
looking at.
to move the conversation to that.
I don't mind helping out. You know, a friend of Luke, a friend of Sims is a friend of mine for sure. But, you know, you got to give me a little bit more than that. I'm just not going to give you things.
Right. Okay. Rowena, do you want to then tell him some more information on why we're here?
Yeah, well, we obviously have to be careful with the information about where exactly Water Sim is. But we do know where he is. He's alive. He's safe. And he wants to know if you've run across any dealings of a cult called the Erzatsarai.
I've never heard that name before.
We show him the symbol
Oh.
we have. Dad will show him the symbol.
Yeah, hold on a second. I've never heard the term Rosatserai before, but I've seen that. Hold on one second. He kind of does the same thing he was doing with Ivo when he was like looking through all of his things. And you see like he's throwing things around, like chucking things in a bunch of different places. And he actually comes back with a similar symbol, but this one is quite a bit bigger. Instead of like a necklace, this is like almost like a huge disc that is carved in stone and seems to be the same symbol, although it looks like it's been weathered and it's old. And he says, someone a long time ago, years and years ago, said he dug this up in the city of the dead, which is weird, but if you don't tell anyone, I won't. Sometimes people rob the cemeteries and find interesting things, and they bring them to me. I just thought it was a cool little display. I didn't think anything of it. But what did you say it was? What was it?
Rosatserai.
Rosatserai. Interesting. Yeah, no, but I mean, he found this there. Maybe there's more connection in the City of the Dead. And Rowena, you would definitely know the City of the Dead, although the name is kind of ominous, is just the name for like the collective burial grounds for the island of Wadep. Most people that get interred here are well-to-do, and it is almost like if Central Park was also a cemetery. Like it's almost like a walking museum filled with like mausoleums and tombs.
And what is this item? Did he tell you, or whoever delivered this, did they tell you what properties it possessed?
None that I know of. I think it's just a carving. It was just interesting and old, and that's kind of what the Lucky Find's all about. Just finding interesting old things.
A gnome friend who I feel like you'd get along with quite well.
Yeah, I'm all about networking. If you know someone that would be able to get us more stuff, let's do it.
Oh, that's okay.
Unfortunately,
This is my
he's
favorite
indentured
character.
to a temple right now.
The best character we've ever encountered. He's all about that.
Team, did I leave anything out? Was there anything else I was supposed to say from Watcher Sim?
That's about the sum of it. We were just trying to see if the Rosatserai had any presence in the town, but nothing more recent than this visitor.
No
years ago.
Yeah, no connection or symbolry that I've seen to that. It's a little, I don't know. My curiosity's piqued, I guess. I don't know. I didn't know that this was more than just an ancient old carving, and now it looks like it actually might still have roots in a modern organization. That's kind of cool, right?
That's not exactly how I would describe it, but to each their own.
Is this like a bad group of people?
I actually feel we probably, for your safety, shouldn't divulge more this time.
I would steer clear of them.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't plan on going into the City of the Dead anytime soon, but if you guys are trying to find them, I guess that's my recommendation, since that's where this was found. You can keep it if you want. That is really just, worthless. I haven't done anything with that, so and I've had it for years.
So they've been around for years.
From a group of adventurers to, who shares similar interests, anything else we should prepare for if we were to go to the City of the Dead? Is it a dangerous trek?
No, I mean it's a pretty
taking place.
I mean, people have picnics there. It's not like it's a particularly dangerous area, which I guess is why I thought it was a cool thing, less than a dangerous thing. But I guess secret organizations have a tendency of doing that. So, anyway, I guess don't piss off the groundskeepers. They get kind of aggressive if you do that. Obviously don't get caught stealing anything from a gravesite, and don't damage any of the property. But I mean, like, families picnic at the City of the Dead. It's not like a particularly scary place. I know that the name can be alarming. But,
I mean, it's name. Yeah, the name is very alarming.
Yeah, I mean, it's just because that's where dead people go. That's really all. We're not a very clever people here in Wadep. That's just how it goes.
Thank you. For your
okay. Yeah. So I think I will make this purchase of these magnifying goggles. Thad and Zunis, if you're still willing to lend me some coin, I'll do it. And
I'll give you 50.
Oh wow, okay, 50 as well. So it was.
So we're all giving you 50.
And 50.
That's cool. Awesome.
Thad, you're doing 52.
Know it.
I up
And
mine
then
50 out of solidarity.
so I also was wondering if we on top of that, so we're doing 250 for the goggles. Could you also, in the spirit of let's call this a new friendship, buy the tchotchkes that you had hanging there? I saw some I Heart Wadep t-shirts. Could you maybe
I'll throw those in. I love actually
For those?
I'll tell you what. I will give you the Found It at the Halflings Lucky Find shirts for all of you.
Okay.
If you promise to wear them, I'll give you a discount going forward.
Yeah, 100%.
And any information you guys need, I'm the guy. Sim probably still remember this. I have friends pretty much every area of the city, so if you need to know something, I can find more than antiques. If you know what I'm saying.
I think these shirts will make us like a walking target of any kind.
No, everyone loves the find. I keep telling you guys this. Why do you guys think that my shop isn't reputable? It's a great place.
Oh, in the shirts.
Sounds good.
So you just need 4 shirts.
Yeah.
Just 4 shirts.
And one for the robot.
Let's get 5.
5 shirts, yeah, for sure. I mean, branding
Should we
is
go
all
for
about
Watcher
word of
Sim and
mouth.
Bethany?
Yeah, do 5.
Okay, I
Don't
just
forget about the
need a
robot.
favor. If you
5.
can, just if Watcher Sim does put on this shirt, just bring him by. I'd really appreciate that. I'd love to see that. It'd mean the world to me.
Dungeon Master.
You got it.
Dungeon Master. Time wise, how long has it been?
In the game.
Since everybody left and I was charging and I was fixing the dog.
I'll say it's probably been about 3 hours.
Cool.
I think we should also meet that up with Dent. Fill him in on the news.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
I just have one more question
Sure.
for Corvold. Corvold, you mentioned you have friends everywhere on the island. There's been no sort of kind of cultural purge with the people associated with the Stormwinds?
How do you mean?
Well, I'm just surprised that someone who was so linked to my father at one point is still going around unabated. No one's threatened you? Jackson hasn't caused any problems for you?
No. I mean, here's the real truth, Rowena. You're the first I've heard that Jackson was in any way violent. For the most part, the city loves him. He's kind of, if anything, he's kind of made the Stormwind name important again.
Okay.
I mean, he's been pumping a lot of money into the city too. Some of these shops he actually owns around here.
That's good to know. I feel like I'm going crazy. This isn't the Jackson I know, but thank you for telling me that.
He kind of looks and he says, listen, I mean, I don't know Jackson, but I know you and I know your dad. And if you say that Jackson's a bad person, and he's probably a bad person, and take it from someone who's pretty good at lying, if I wanted people to not notice me, I'd make a lot of people think I was really friendly. So just whatever it is, be careful.
You too, and your lovely wife.
She doesn't mean anything by it. It was just a long, hard time. That's all.
I know. I wish I could say that's ancient history, but unfortunately it's coming back to bite us in many ways. However, I'm sure she's a lovely person.
She really is. She makes a great scone. And you see her in the back just like sigh and roll her eyes. Well, if you guys ever need anything else in the city, like I said, I can probably get you the information you need. It's my city.
Appreciate
Wow.
that, Corvold.
Perfect.
Thanks, Corvold.
Nice doing business with you.
It was really good to meet all of you. Enjoy. And he like gives you the glasses and all the other things, etc.
Thanks for the shirts.
What a cheery guy. I like that.
Do you mind if I take a quick bathroom break?
Yeah, of course. Does anyone else need a bio break while we're here?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Sorry to the
No,
Twitch viewers.
For everyone else before you go, can you all like who's putting on the shirts right now?
I'll put on my shirt.
Okay,
I'll
if
put on
you-
the shirt.
If you're putting on the shirt,
I think one of us should not put on the shirt.
if
Well, I
you're
think I
putting
can't,
on the
right?
shirt, yeah, except for Dent, I would like you to roll a Constitution saving throw.
God.
Interesting.
I feel like it's dumb, but I'll go along and be a sheep. And deducting 50 was correct for my goal, right?
Yeah. I have a 23.
I got 9.
No, sorry, 22. 22. 22.
21.
I rolled a 5.
You rolled a 5.
Yeah.
You got really lucky. That was actually just what you needed. Shirt seems to go on and off like a normal shirt. Nothing weird.
Nothing.
Normal shirt. Cool,
It's a normal shirt. Nothing strange.
Just as if it was a shirt.
All right, let's do a little
100% cotton?
Yeah, it does not
Don't worry,
get stuck
I'll roll
on your
the
body.
one.
It does not get stuck on your body. It does not let you take it off.
It's a good fit.
It's a great fit. They're all extra mediums. All right.
Nate,
yes.
What I want to add the item to me. What's it called exactly?
It's called
If I
the
go to
Eyes
Advanced
of-
Equipment.
Yeah, the eyes of the eagle. And basically,
Oh,
it
I
gives you
see it there.
advantage. It gives you advantage on all perception checks that require sight.
Ooh, nice. Did I get a good deal on it? Follow-up question.
He was being truthful. He actually gave you half off.
Nice.
So that was actually a really good deal.
Ooh.
You get the sense
So
that
do I
he,
have to click
he
this
did.
box?
He was kind of curious what you guys were planning, and like a little bit of his old like glory days
Right.
where the nostalgia was kicking in.
Do I have to press this box to make it active?
Yeah, so that's kind of what I was trying to hint at in the game world too. Like you have to attune to that item, which means you basically have to have it like on your person for I think it's like 2 hours, 3 hours before you can actually get its effects. So I'll just say by the time you get back to Dent, it'll be attuned. So if you want to attune it now, that's fine. That's a game mechanic to make sure you guys can't just like pass items from one person to the other, so everyone gets the benefit. So just know
Got it.
it needs to be checked and attuned.
Got it. It is checked. Okay, cool.
Can't wait to
And
use this.
I did my gold. Yep, we're good. I need to add in my shirt.
Do you want to do that?
Oh. Can I name it?
Anybody working on any secret projects that they'd like to talk about?
Hold on, I can pause the stream. Hold on. Okay, mics are back.
Firestorm.
Firestorm. Eric Fink, I hope you're watching this. I know that you're not, but I hope somewhere down the road you're watching this. I miss Fink. He's such a good dude. Like Eric Fink is literally one of my favorite people in the world. In either
Certainly
case,
It's gonna be a character name coming in soon. I feel it.
that's true. In either case, so you guys have left the Halfling's Lucky Find and left Corvold, getting some of the information you were looking for.
Wearing new shirts.
Wearing new shirts. The shirts
Which are totally just shirts.
Which are totally just shirts. They are not stuck on your persons. There was not some type of interesting, funny spell that Corvold casted on all of them. But you do make it back to the shack. Bettany is awake and up. Her and her father are discussing things. They seem to be laughing and joking, telling old stories of youth, which is really kind of cute to see. Dent is ignoring everyone. He's still working on this thing, and it's hard to tell because he's essentially motionless. But he does seem to be a little frustrated, as if it's still not as far along as he thought it was going to be. But you're all back in the shack. What would you guys like to do?
Well, I want to check in
Can
on
we-
Dent to see what the problem is with him taking so long.
Can we
to
help
get
him
this,
finish?
You could try.
Dent,
Yeah.
what's the progress looking like?
The magic carburetor is not responding to my magic wrench in the way that I thought it would be. I thought this job would take 4 hours. Now it's looking a lot more like 8 hours.
Ivo, roll an insight check at disadvantage for me.
See if I know what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah, at disadvantage to see if you believe what he's saying.
To see what made up bullshit he just said. If I know it's
Correct.
made up bullshit.
Correct.
What a disadvantage? Insight. You say insight, right?
Mhm. Hey.
I rolled a disadvantage, an 11.
An 11. Yeah, you're like, okay, yeah, that totally makes sense. I get it. I understand. For sure.
Yeah, for sure. We got you a shirt, by the way, if you want to put it on, and when we go out later, so we all look like true tourists.
I refuse the shirt.
All right. Well, just use it to help. Maybe use this as a rag to help expedite the process of building this dog.
I keep the shirt as a rag.
Touch the shirt.
All right.
I need you to roll a
Good
Constitution
talk.
saving throw. Since you touched the shirt, I need you to roll a Constitution saving throw.
God damn it.
Roll more than a 5.
With your track record, I don't know.
7. Close call.
Oh man, now I'm
We
curious
lost our
about you.
DM.
So bad the DM left.
What do we do now that the DM is gone? We're off the rails.
Everybody level up
Oh,
to
God.
it now.
You can still
Level
hear
up.
I smash
I turn myself
everything.
gold. I
Should appoint a
claim
new
King of
DM.
Yarwood.
Or there you go.
I'm wondering what's going to happen with these shirts.
I think somebody's going to be like, oh, did you guys all call each other this morning?
You're all good. Nothing
No,
happens.
we all
Yeah, you're all good. Nothing happens. You rolled more than what you needed. So You guys are in the space. You've gotten a little bit of information. You've gotten a bit of a direction to head in if you do choose to follow through the Urzatsirai. You can continue to explore the rest of the city. It's kind of up to you where you guys want to go from here.
I have a ask for Ivo. It's a little bit dangerous, but Ivo, I was wondering if I'm fine with going to the City of the Dead. I think that's a great idea. But I was wondering if the next time we go out, we could maybe pass by my family's house and you could use your glasses to get a read on the inside.
Remind me what part of the city was that? Baxter Park? I can't read this.
It's in the first raised ward.
Yeah, it would be like where number 6 is on your map, which is pretty close to where.
Oh, number 6. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's. Yeah. I think that's a good idea. I think though, it might be best if just you and me go, just so we don't attract too much attention being in a group.
I agree.
Are you going?
Do we have some kind of invisibility cloak as well?
Yes.
Do we, or Bethany
Is
has
there
it, right? Or do we have it also?
I think
Because if
Bethany
Rowena
had it-
shows up by her house, that would be suspicious.
I don't think I have it.
Yeah, I think Bethany is the one who had that skill, and she can make you invisible for up to an hour.
And it's less than an hour's walk to the realm of the first race, right?
It would be from where you are. You could probably get there. You wouldn't be able to stay very long, and like it might wear off before you can leave that space, but it would get you there.
Range on those glasses again?
Sorry, say it one more time.
What's the range on those glasses?
There's not really so much of a range. It's more if there is a perception check to be made, you'll get advantage. So it doesn't guarantee that you're going to see everything, but it does give you a good chance of helping you see something.
Well, and also GM, I don't necessarily, it sounds like this with this magical Eye of the Eagle, I don't necessarily have to be in front of some sort of the object I want to look at, right? I could, in theory, kind of step outside anywhere in the city and try to see another part of it. Is that how I'm kind of understanding? Or I guess it's worth a shot.
You would need another. You would need, like, it doesn't let you see through things. You would need an unobstructed view of whatever you're trying to see.
Okay, so I wouldn't have to be like right in front of it, but I could be down the street of it from it, and as long as I have a clear view of it, I could.
You could probably get a good look at it, yeah. And
Okay.
It would give you like
so we're
pretty good detail.
Okay, so Rowena, why don't we take a walk? Why don't you put on maybe some, like, if you have a cloak or something to kind of disguise yourself in case the invisibility wears off, and then Bethany, would you be so kind to make Rowena invisible as we go to take a look at her residence? We don't want her to be seen, and we don't want any Jackson's people to see her.
Yeah, sure, I can do that for you guys. Do you want me to come with you? I could just do it again, I guess. Just make sure she stays invisible.
Put you in danger.
I mean, are you expecting us to, like, if anything, honestly, like, they might know Ivo. Hasn't he been with you for a while? They're not going to know me.
I picked Ivo up after I left home, but who knows what sort of intelligence they have on me.
I mean, you guys tell me. I can hang out here, and you can kind of see that Watcher Sim is getting a little bit, like, squirrely. He doesn't feel good about Bethany going on adventures, but he hasn't butted in yet. But yeah, guys, I can go with you. I can make you invisible.
Why don't you come with us?
You go ahead, Ivan.
Let's do that. Come with us, and can you make us both invincible?
Let's look. I think I probably could. Let me check. Let me see how much that might take out of me. Spells. Well, if we go fast, I could make us all invisible for an hour. But I would not get a second shot at it, so we have to get there and like come right back.
Why don't we
Does that increase danger if it's all of us?
No, I could
less stealthy.
Yeah, I mean, I could only cast it on 3 people. I only have three rounds on this.
So just Rowena, Bethany, and myself. You guys stay here and chill. Why don't we take a walk, and then as soon as we get, out of this current neighborhood, out of Helms Hall, and we're entering into the what is it? The realm of the rays, first rays. As we're entering into that neighborhood, why don't you cast it then? We're step into like an alleyway or something, just so we get a little closer, have a little more time to be invisible.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it works for me if it works for Bethany.
Yeah. You hear Watcher Sim from the background say, "Just be careful, okay?"
Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Watcher. Bethany's dad.
Yeah, you're fine. Just Bethany, just be careful, please.
All right. Let's take a stroll then. Let's do it.
Cool. So she does. You guys kind of walk out that way, and she kind of looks through it, and she pulls out her flute, like her little pan flute that she kind of casts her magic through, and she plays a little bit of a tune on it, and it's like this haunting, almost ephemeral music. And you look down at yourselves, and you see that all of you are invisible. And you cannot see your bodies.
Whoa.
And you can still hear each other. You are not mute. Things that you interact with still interact with. So like it's not impossible to discern that something invisible is around, but you are invisible.
Get used to being invisible.
So where are we?
Yeah, this is fun.
Where are we going? We don't have a lot of time, so you got to lead the way.
Rowena.
We're just going a little bit northwest of here to Zone 6, the realm of the first rays.
Okay, well, let's go. It's fine. So you guys walk to that side of town, and you kind of get into that. You notice like the area is really well to do. The buildings here are huge. They're beautiful. Most of them are gated. The gate is typically made by like this like really ornate metal. There seems to be more of a guard presence here as well, like a bigger patrol, and they tend to like minimize how many people are really out loitering about. There are no hawkers like some of the other ones. There are no shops. These are all just big, giant homes. You know how to get to the Stormwind estate pretty clearly. It's one of the estates that's older but hasn't been as well maintained. It's inwards a little bit closer to the center of the city, in the older part of the city. But you get there just like it's yesterday, and you can't shake this feeling of deja vu, like you've walked these streets before, and you're having all these memories of your childhood. And you know, as you're kind of zoning out, thinking about what you've gone through and remembering your father being killed by Jackson. You look up and you see the building you grew up in. It's a very large building. The main entrance is actually on the street and at street level. It's basically a big center building with a couple of wings going out on each side that are also large, and the wings also lead into more homes kind of out. So it's almost like one big U that it creates, with a central courtyard, but on the back of the house, not in the front of the house. The front door entrance is right up on the street level.
Well, this is it. This is where I grew up. It feels so weird to be back here. Ivo, can you, if you don't mind, can you take out the glasses?
Yeah. DM, is there, I'm assuming we're standing like on the sidewalk or the street. Is there like a fence around it, or can we literally just kind of walk up to the house or even walk around it?
There's like a small fence. It's not like a big one. It's clearly not meant to keep anybody out. Typically, you see fences, but most of them are decorative and pretty. They don't seem like they're functional fences. For the most part, the guards and the military does that here. But you do see windows that you can see into, and they are lit. It's still relatively early in the day. It's like maybe 1 o'clock. So it's still, pretty well lit. You can see inside the building pretty quickly. Nothing immediately strikes your like senses from outside of where you are right now.
Gotcha. Okay, so I like to put on
I'm just curious to see if
Go. What was it, Rowena?
Oh, sorry. My connection is lagging a lot. I can't always hear if you're talking. I'm wondering if I just want to see if my mother and my siblings are in there.
Okay. Yeah. So DM, I want to put on the eyes of the eagle and see if I can look through even deeper into the house through the windows.
Roll a perception check for me and roll advantage because of your new magic item.
I keep rolling off my table. 13.
13. You can see into the house, and from your viewpoint on the eastern wing of this house, there's a window that leads out, and it almost leads you down that full hallway. It's a little hard to make out because there are things in the way, but you can see an older woman sitting on a bench, almost in the back of the house. So let me see if I can. Let me try this real quick here. This might make it a little easier. Show grid. Okay, so if this area in black is like the street, this is kind of what the house looks like with a big central area, couple of wings that go off, and then like more building that goes to the back. So you're looking in from the window this way, and all the way back here you see a person. That seems to be an older woman.
It's still not loading for me.
Refresh if it's giving you trouble.
Yeah, it's still just a black.
I don't see it either.
Yeah, same.
Hold on one second. Let me try something.
You see the same, Anna?
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
just black screen.
I'm black too.
Yeah, it's just black.
I'll share it on
screen.
Discord. Hold on one second. Let me get to it. Share your screen with this one. Okay. Hit that live option on Discord. You should be able to see it there now.
True.
Oh, look at that.
So
So fancy. Wait, so, okay, we're looking down that hallway, and the end of the hallway, or the wing, is an old woman sitting on a bench, you said?
yep, that's like black circle back that way.
Okay, and then I guess I'll describe this old woman to Rowena, and doing so, try to see if this is her mother, indeed her mother or not.
It does sound like her mother. As you're
That's my mother.
as you're looking in the space, you see a younger man walk up as well. Seems to be talking to the woman. Doesn't seem like an aggressive conversation. They just seem to be chatting. And if you describe that to Rowena, it will be Jackson.
Oh. Okay. And then, Rowena, you wanted to know about your siblings, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we know Jackson and your mom are there. So then, DM, are there any other open windows, or maybe this other wing I can look out on the left here?
Yeah, give it a shot. Go
Or
ahead.
have I
and
already
roll
kind of scanned through everything?
No, you can keep looking. Go ahead and roll a perception check again for me, also at advantage.
Not good. Hopefully this is better. Not great rolls today. 8.
You can't see anyone else that far into the building, and even as you walk through. As you're walking to the other side, though, trying to get another look, a shape walks by the window. And it looks to be humanoid, but it moves eerily. It doesn't seem like it moved like a human. Can you do me a favor and roll a history check as well?
Oh, God.
So let's see if you remember this.
Um, 12.
12. So you
Yeah.
do have inklings of what this thing reminded you of. A while ago, while you were making your way back to Searle, after you got the world spikes, you were attacked by a couple of assassins that were like these half-snake type assassins. And they moved very serpentinely, very snake-like with these unnatural movements of the arms. This shape that you saw move across the window seemed to be one of these creatures.
Were these the ones at the inn that we stayed at?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shoot. I think my headphones are dying. Ooh. Hold on. I gotta switch out headphones.
While we do this, DM, how long has it been for me?
It's been a total of 6 hours, let's say. Nope, actually, if that was the case, well, they came back for a bit. Yeah, we'll call it 6 hours. You guys,
Cool.
by the way, have maybe only like 10 to 15 minutes left before your invisibility wears off.
That was fast.
I mean, it
And
took them.
DM, how many siblings do I have?
I think just one. Let me double check.
Okay.
I'm sure just one. PC.
While Clayton's headphones work out, and while we're looking at things, I use the mirror of the past to look at the origins of the disc
Yeah,
I received. Corporal.
great call. Glad you remembered. You still have that.
I'm back, by the way.
Let me. I just gotta check real quick. I think Mirror of the Past has one rule I have to abide by. Mirror. Burp, 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 burp. How many images do you
That can wait now that Clayton's back as well. But I just want to do that at some point.
Series of images. Okay, there's no level. Yeah, when he's done with that, I'll give it to you. But yeah, Ivo, that's kind of what you see. You're certain that there are these, what you remember to be what are called, what the innkeeper at the cliffhanger called Yuan T.
Yeah.
That there's basically these half snake people inside the house.
Gotcha.
They don't seem to be hostile. They just seem like they're patrolling inside.
So going back to what I was asking about the like fence or anything, could we unnoticed being so invisible? Could we walk from the sidewalk and kind of go around to like the backyard of the house, or is there like a fence up and a gate? Like it would be very noticeable if we like swing through a gate and go back there.
There is a gate. You could climb the fence. It's not that tall. It's maybe only like 6 feet tall. Like the front gate is actually kind of short, so you can kind of see the majesty of the house. But around the back, you'd have to get over like a bigger gate.
Okay. Rowena and Bethany, you guys stay here. I'm gonna go and try to look around back to see if I can find anything else.
Can you roll a stealth check?
But you
for
guys
me,
stay here.
Ivo?
Yes,
Be safe.
I will try. See how the stealth check goes.
You're invisible, so you get advantage as well.
Oh, good. Nice. Okay, that's better. Second time. 18.
Okay. So you do manage to get into the courtyard area without too much fuss or making any noise, using some of your old combat prowess to kind of get down into that area pretty quickly. You don't see like anyone that would match Rowena's sister in the courtyard. You can see through the window a little better though on that eastern wing, so you can see her mother like just sitting on a bench reading. She seems to be calm and pleasant. Nothing seems to be unusual. In the courtyard though, there are 3 more of those same half snake creatures. You're muted, by the way, Ivo.
Good call. Are they patrolling, or are they just kind of stationed there in the courtyard?
These creatures don't so much patrol as they do kind of just slink about, but they do seem to be back there purposely to like guard from intrusion or keep people out.
Got it. Okay.
You've got maybe
cool.
10 minutes left, by the way.
Gotcha. Okay. So I seeing this, I would come back to the front and I hop over the fence again and report back to Rowena and Bethany what I saw, and then figuring I can't really see anything else, we can't really do anything besides actually breaking into the house. I say it's best to go back since the invisibility is going to wear off soon anyways. So unless Rowena wants me to try to do anything else, we should head back.
No, I agree. We should head back, and thank you for going as far as you did to get information.
You got it. All right, I guess, DM, we're going to head back to Watcher Sim's place then.
So you start heading back. You're about to exit kind of the main area that separates the first, the realm of the first rave and Helm's Hall. And just almost as soon as you cross that boundary, your invisibility drops. Rowena, can you roll a stealth check for me?
Yeah. $14.
So far, seems okay. You don't think anything has shouted your name or done anything strange. So you kind of head back, and you get back to Helm's Hall and back to the shack where Watcher Sim is without issue.
Nice.
And then for Thad, while you were there, kind of using the mirror of the past to kind of look at this item, you see an image of the island slowly rising, and it's almost like a time lapse. Like it's rising, and at the same time you see like sunrise turn to sunset, sunrise turn to sunset, and then after that you're zoomed into a cemetery from above. It's almost like a drone shot, but it just goes right through the earth. And as you go through the earth, you can see construction happening. Like there are workers there, and they're pulling things out. The workers, though, seem strange. You've never seen these creatures before, but you've heard of them. They're basically these avian-type creatures that look like walking ravens with arms and legs and a bird's beak. And you know them to be what are called kenku. And they seem to be constructing this underground facility of some type.
Take it. Is everyone back at the? No?
Yeah.
Everyone's back. Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna divulge what I've seen. Maybe we can do some information sharing, but tell everyone about these creepy raven dudes underneath the peaceful park. At least in the past.
Yeah. So you share that information with them? What do you guys want to do from here?
Should we go to the City of the Dead?
Maybe we should. As long as you feel safe or feel that your mother and your family is safe for the time being.
That's the weird thing. I mean, they didn't seem like they were being harmed, and they seem relatively peaceful, and Jackson seemed to be being peaceful to them. I don't want to leave them there, but then again, I have been leaving them there for the last few years. I think that I definitely want to dispense with Jackson, but that will be, I think, the last thing we can do here in Wadep, because as soon as I do that, our cover is blown. So I think we should do anything else we need to do here first.
That's Rowena. Does your family know that Jackson killed your father?
I don't know. I would think the evidence would be pretty obvious. I mean, it wasn't exactly a peaceful scene, but for my mother to be ostensibly cooperating with Jackson, unless he's just worn her down so much, this is what she accepts as inevitable.
Sounds from the description like she certainly could be, there could be a peaceful kind of hostage-like situation happening where she's in immediate duress, but is like being held fully against her will. He probably has to keep her alive in some way, right, to continue the rod of power that he has going.
Yeah, I think it's certainly helpful to him. And now I'm piecing together bits of my father's backstory, and I think perhaps things weren't. I mean, not. I feel bad even thinking this. Not that my mother would have wanted to kill my father, but perhaps if she had known something of his history with other Rowena, that maybe there wasn't the trust between them that I thought there was. So I'm confident that she's safe for now. I will not leave this isle without attempting to usurp Jackson's power, even if I die doing it. But first, we should go to the City of the Dead.
Sounds good to me. Dent, ready to travel to the City of the Dead?
Game Master, how we looking? Time check.
You made the rules. You made it 8 hours instead of 4 hours.
Correct.
You always could just wait it out, like sit with you till
You need like another hour if you want to finish this thing. It's almost there. So you need like
I
another hour.
convinced
It almost seems like the dungeon master does not want Bernie.
Bernie messed up the first roll. It's not my fault. He would have been done by now.
Don't say messed up the roll like I purposefully rolled the 2.
It hasn't been a full 8-hour day. I'll put it that way.
I convinced the group to wait with me for 1 hour.
You don't have to finish it right now. You can finish it next time. You can finish it. It's up to you. You guys decide.
My character would finish it.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know what, group?
That's a complete
For us, this is, if we're gonna go to this park and try and find entrance to some subterranean secret, it'd be better to do that, under cover of darkness, or at least in the evening when folks aren't out having their nice midday picnic or what have you. No, I would.
I agree with that.
A midday picnic and have some ale.
We could pose as a family. We have matching shirts.
Got magic.
It's true.
Let's do it. Someone grab some eggs and sausage from breakfast, and let's go have a picnic.
So another hour goes by. It's now going on into the evening. We'll say it's like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. The creature you have been working on is fixed, and I will try to add it into your inventory for you, Dent. I don't know if I can add it that way. I'm going to find out.
Ooh.
Steel Defender? No, not that.
Can Dent share with us what it does exactly?
What's that?
Can Dent share with us if it's fixed? Can he share with us what it is exactly and what it does?
Absolutely. I'm gonna share it with Dent right now. I just gotta figure out where I put it in his D&D Beyond page. I think it's probably in extras would be my guess. Extras, manage extras, Beast Companion.
I'm not seeing any extras on mine.
I haven't added.
You said
Hold on a second. Yeah. Okay. I added. I don't know if it counts as a pet. Appearance, whether it's 2 legs or 4. Let me see if it's a pet. Let's try to see what it counts as. Well, I'll fix it later, right? Oh, I found it. Steel Defender. All right. I have added it into your extras area.
Cool.
It is a Steel Defender.
What should we name it?
Steel Defender. Armor class, hit points, saving throw, might of master, follows the number of increase, Steel Defender. In combat, the Steel Defender shares your initiate count, but it takes turn. It sounds like this thing is kind of attack-based metal dog. It doesn't seem like there's any other additional qualities to it other than for battle.
Yeah, basically it's like a little extra fighter. It's like a little extra companion for you.
Yeah.
Cool.
We got the dog.
You aren't quite the artificer that would typically use these, so we'll talk about rules and what you can do with this later on, but you do have this.
Okay. Fair enough.
He kind of springs to life, and he's like... but it's like a mechanical... as his jaw moves.
Of course. I pet the dog. I boop the nose.
He boops your hand back. This is
So what's the plan, guys? Now that we have this dog done,
We going to the Park of the Dead? What's it called?
City of the Dead.
City of the Dead.
going to the Park of the Dead. I will join you in this quest to the Sea of the Dead.
Thank you, Dent, and thank you for putting the dog back together.
That's not the one.
And thank you for not dragging me in on the quest today and understanding that I needed to put the dog back together.
So from where you guys are, the City of the Dead isn't too far. It's probably like a good while's walk. You can, if right now it's probably about like 4 p.m., 5 p.m., you could get there and it would be pretty late in the day. It'd probably be like 9 p.m., maybe closer to like 10.
Perfect, because we want to go at night. That's ideal, right?
You would definitely get there at nighttime, for sure. Actually.
Nate, I'm getting some echo from you.
Oh, that's weird. Let me check something here real quick. I think it's Clayton doesn't have his headphones on anymore.
Blame it on Clayton.
They're charging. I'll put them on in a sec.
Hold on,
Clayton, a good tip is just to always stay on mute when you're not talking. I'm not trying to be a dick. I really...
It's just like what like your boss says when you're on a Zoom meeting. Yeah, good tip is just to have it mute all the time.
No, so my first job out of college was for Google, and it was doing like Google Hangout live streams, and like literally that was my job, was to tell people, please mute yourself when you're not talking. It was a year of my life.
Yeah, I'll say that's pretty accurate. Actually, it's probably going to be a little bit closer to like midnight. It'll be pretty late in the day before you guys get there, just based on how far away it is. But you can get there.
Perfect time to be in a cemetery.
Yeah, midnight in the cemetery.
Great, let's do it.
I'm in.
So you guys do get into that space, and it's a relatively easy trek. Like there's one of the largest roads in all of Wadep that leads to it. This area is traversed quite a bit. You don't see very many people on the roads this late, so nothing really too nuts is happening. But it's also relatively well patrolled. Not a lot of banditry happens in this space anyway. So you do get to the City of the Dead without too much fuss, as earlier described, and you're almost taken aback by how beautiful it is. Rowena, you've been to this space actually a few times, so it's not as surprising, but it's still a very beautiful space. It's like rolling hills of grass. It's like neatly manicured. The tombstones in some areas are a little bit more planned, so they follow like a grid pattern. Other areas, they were just kind of like placed wherever. You can kind of see the places where they weren't so well planned as probably the older areas of the cemetery. But even though it's midnight here, you do notice that there are lots of moving shapes around. And as you notice them moving and they kind of turn to look at you, they don't have human faces. They don't have humanoid faces. When it turns, you can see it actually is a long, dark beak. And most of them have, you can kind of see as the moonlight glistens, purplish feathers or dark black feathers or dark blue feathers covering their body. And their feet aren't like feet. They are essentially crow's feet. They're avian feet as they walk around, kind of peacefully mending the grave sites and trimming back hedges, or some burying coffins or moving dirt around. There are also just like mausoleums and statues upon mausoleums and statues. Like there are so many different tombs and stone structures and artwork. It really is almost like a museum outside. There's so much art and statuary just all over the place that it really does seem more of a place to enjoy the day than like a cemetery for mourning.
Does anyone seem to be in charge, or is anything like out of the ordinary?
Roll a perception check for me. as you're walking through this very strange graveyard.
$11.
How much? 11? Yeah, nothing seems out of the ordinary. You don't notice anything else. There are different areas of the graveyard that seem to be like quarantined, or not quarantined, like blocked off. Like some areas are fenced in. Maybe that was a whole family or a whole group of people. Some areas are out in the open. Some are smaller than others, but nothing right now seems particularly obvious.
Let me ask the group, since I've been fixing this dog all day, what is our objective here?
We want to investigate to see if the Urzatsuri, the people who made you, have a footprint here.
Gotcha.
Actually, I don't know. Maybe you have some insight into this. Like, have you ever been to this
Not in this
area?
graveyard.
Do you know anything of like the symbology that might entrance?
Dent, actually roll a history check for me at advantage.
The rolls continue. It's a 5.
And that was at advantage, so you rolled twice?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. And another 5.
It hates you.
That's with a +3. I want to just...
So you would still know some of this. I'm just not going to give you everything based on the roll. You don't know of a place specifically within this area, but you do know that the Urzatsuri, given their clandestine nature, tend to choose places like this to establish secret facilities, because people are societally trained not to poke around in these areas. So you've got a good feeling, like if there's going to be a secret place somewhere here for the Urzatsuri, it wouldn't be unusual. You've never been to it. You don't know where it is, but you do feel confident that there probably is one here.
It's like maybe we should try and find the most prominent building and start from there, or like the biggest mausoleum.
Okay. So you start looking around. There's a bunch of them. As you start poking around, some of the Kenku kind of notice this, and they kind of look at you, and they're like, "Burr, burr, burr." And then as you keep kind of looking around, it's almost surreal. Like, it's now not making avian noises. It's opening its mouth, and in a very disconnected human sound, it's saying, "Don't go there." And it's not like moving its mouth. It's just, "Don't go there." And the sound is coming out of its mouth. And then, like, you walk away from one space and go to another one, and then another Kenku sees you. And now it's not even like using language. He's literally making the noise of like a door, like a door slamming shut, just like with its mouth, but its mouth isn't moving. He's just able to project this noise in your direction.
I guess I'll address these Kenku and say, isn't this public property? What right have you to say we can't go anywhere here?
And so again, it doesn't really respond with words. It just looks at you and goes, just more door slamming in your face noises.
What languages do they speak?
Roll a history check.
Five.
You don't know. You get the sense
can
that
I?
Yeah, please.
Would add know whether or not the spell tongues might work. That is to say, could I cast tongues, give someone the ability to understand these creatures?
Roll a history check.
8.
You're not sure. You get the sense these creatures can't talk.
Okay.
Address the creatures. Creatures, we are family members and friends of someone buried in the cemetery, so please leave us unbothered.
So the one that you're talking to, like, points out like a feathered finger, and he goes, he starts making like a almost like the Price is Right real noise, like ding 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 ding, ding like a radar, and you get the sense he's trying to figure out which family is yours. And he is pointing everywhere, but the area, he's pointing everywhere but the area behind him.
What's behind him?
Thank you.
It is one of the mausoleums that you notice. It's it's kind of surrounded by a wrought iron fence, and the wrought iron fence seems to be like adorned and formed in the shape of a lot of swooping spirals.
I'd like to go check out that mausoleum.
As you try to go in that direction, the Kenku again like gets in front of you, and then he just like sticks his hands up, and it just and then more of them start coming up, and now they're all doing the same thing, making it very clear they do not want you in this space.
This is clearly
We actually, our family member is in that one over there to the right. That's where we're going.
One of them.
So sorry.
One of them again opens its mouth, and he's just able to like mimic this noise, this sound to perfection. But it just sounds like a wrong buzzer, just and then another one kind of pipes up, opens his mouth, and goes, "You lie, you lie!" And it's not like he's talking at all. It just his mouth is like able to put that noise out in the world.
Hi. DM, I have a question. This is a shot in the dark here, but this is what I was getting at. Is my father buried here?
Oh.
He is.
You don't know. You left before you found out. It wouldn't be impossible. There is a stormwind area of this cemetery for sure, but you don't know if he's actually been buried here.
Okay. Team, I say this not to make this the Rowena show, because I know we've done a lot of exegesis about my background today. But I say this because perhaps then they will leave us alone, and we can do our investigation with the added benefit of perhaps I will get what's the word I'm looking for? A psychic catharsis from visiting my father's resting place.
But I would pay respects to your father.
What'd you say, Dad?
Said I would love to pay respects to your father. Let's go do it.
Yes. All right. So listen, Kenku, do your Plinko thing again, and I'm sure you'll find I am a Stormwind, and we have rights to be here. I know it's a little late, but this is our time to commune with the dead.
And so the one that you're talking to, kind of puts his hand down. The rest of them put their hands down, and you can't really tell if it's a male or female at this point. And it literally is able to say in your it sounds like you talking. He mimics Stormwind. I'm a Stormwind, just like you say it, and then he points like a little bit off behind you, kind of at your like 3 o'clock, or sorry, like your 4 o'clock. He says, "I'm a Stormwind. I'm a Stormwind."
Yes, we're going over there. Also, I have some noble men with me who pay homage to Helm, and I'm sure you'll agree in this sacred place that these holy men should pass unbothered.
He doesn't say anything.
Okay.
God takes a swig of his wineskin.
No response.
So I slink off to my 4 o'clock.
Okay. So you guys do go there, and as you're walking through, you do get to a place that you've been to before because you visited your family members, and it is the Stormwind kind of burial area. The Stormwinds, again, started off with a lot of power and money and influence on Wadep and in Yaren, but slowly but surely they started losing a lot of their funds over time, culminating with Luke Stormwind's kind of disastrous handling of their money. And so you do see, like, at first, like, there's this huge mausoleum that is giant, and it's got a bunch of names kind of attached to the outside of it. But then you see, like, smaller tombstones kind of around it. And near the back, as you're walking around, you see a tree that is tended well. But below it is not even a tombstone. It's not like a standing tombstone. It's just a little stone kind of dug into the dirt that says Luke Stormwind. Loved father.
I'm sorry, Dad. You deserve better than this. And I'd like to, I have a candle that just one of my supplies, but I'd like to put a candle at his grave and light it.
Cool. So it's kind of waiting.
Okay, team. Shall we perceive any remnants of the Ozatsuri around here?
I can start investigating for symbols around here, maybe keeping an eye out for symbols of rising or setting sun or anything else that appeared when I consulted the mirror. But if we want to advance in any sort of sneaky manner and avoid the birds, probably should avoid joining you all. I have a liability in that regard.
Could the birds theoretically, like, maul?
Could they what?
Maul us? Or
They were
take us
seemingly getting hostile earlier when you tried to enter that space.
but, like, in a fight, the birds would probably take us.
You saw maybe about 7 or 8 of them. They didn't seem particularly dangerous. They didn't have any weapons on them that you noticed. But there were a lot of them. You guys are level 5. You're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Kenku only seemed to get really upset when you tried to enter into a specific space.
It does seem that these ones at least are more like gardeners than soldiers. I'm not.
Yeah, can we talk about what do we
down.
think is in these spaces?
Well, we're looking for symbols right now.
Imagine it'll be what we found that other underground temple underneath the Temple of Helm. There was a whole elaborate network of creations by that cult. Imagine there's going to be another one of those. The past of the stone is true. We just don't know how to get in or where it might be. The place to start seems to be within that iron fence.
The DM is smiling.
To figure out, not mine. Whatever you want to do here.
All right, well,
I mean, technically, you could just leave and, like, fuck it, I don't want to deal with any of this anymore. You can do whatever you want.
I think the first thing we should do is what Thad said and investigate.
Hey, can we recognize any symbols or anything?
I'll say I'll give it to you because you got pretty close to it. The wrought iron fence that you were guarding, you noticed, like, it had these swirly patterns, these spiral patterns, and on occasion they would turn into a full circle, and in that circle would be the same 4 spirals that you see in the symbol of the Erzatsarai. So, like, you can tell that space is Erzatsarai related based on the imagery on the iron fence. And again, in the vision that you had, the Kenku were the ones building this underground facility. So it seems as if they're guarding it.
Right, so how do we infiltrate this thing? How do we get in there? Ivo, you seem to be. Oh, he's gone.
Some kind of diversion.
Oh, I wonder if we could do a diversion. Maybe.
I mean, if these birds don't seem particularly, academic.
Yeah, sorry, I'm back. What do you need me to do?
You gotta outwit some birds.
We were just curious about your thoughts. Yeah. What kind of diversion we might be able to take to attract the bird attention?
So we're trying to get them to clear out. You know what? I actually have, which I've been kind of wanting to use. This might be a good moment for it. Where is it? Is it under spells? Yeah, I have a spell of, oh god, thaumaturgy.
Yeah,
I have that as
but
well.
it's
hardest one to say. Thaumaturgy, yes.
Yeah, where you can create you project a noise or some sort of flame or something like that. Oh no, you project a noise. You can cause flames to change colors. But right, you can you can create an instantaneous sound that originates from a point of your choice within range, such as a rumble of thunder, the cry of ravens, or a whisper.
I have that spell as well, so I could cast it to cause an unlocked door or window to fly open or slam shut as well. We could maybe send them all investigating those 2 points.
Okay, you want to do that?
Facing
I'll do
around.
some whispers to one side, and you do some window door action.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, I'm down for that.
So you're kind of trying to create a
We all
little bit of a
think.
widespread shot there. All right. Go ahead and roll. So you do thaumaturgy. And Ivo's creating some like weird whispers happening through a few of them on one side of them, and then Thad's going to do like a big explosion on the other. Like a big sound of one.
There's an unlocked door over there. I want to open up the doors of a mausoleum that is far away from us.
I would like you both to roll performance checks to see how convincing this is.
Ooh, come on. Nine.
Okay.
12.
Okay. So you do see these things happen, and they start to get some of their attention. The side where Thad was kind of pointing one of the mausoleum doors to just swoosh open, you do see these two giant stone doors just go whoop, and like 3 of the Kenku out of the total of like 8 are like, what the fuck? And they just like, rah, and they like go running over in that direction. For the whispers, you do see it like one just kind of like, and then they're like looking at each other. You can kind of see they look a little inquisitive, and they just kind of like head nod in that direction, and just one goes off. So there's still 4 Kenku kind of meandering in front. But you managed to get half of them out of the way.
To be fair, I have my wind power, and I don't know if it would knock you guys, but if you're not close to me, I can. It might be a little disrespectful in the cemetery, though. I might knock something over.
Just trying to blow the ravens over.
Yeah, but what if I knock someone's head tombstone over? I feel pretty horrible about that.
How many?
I do.
Go ahead, Ruin.
Oh, you go ahead, Ted. I do think that the dead want us to ultimately work hard to save this world for the living. You go ahead, Ted.
You could always try and throw up some sort of barrier between Kenku and mausoleum we want to investigate as well. I know I've seen you, Zunis, with the power of nature to stop things in their tracks in the past. I don't know how many you can stop or anything like that.
Check my wind. Gust of wind. DM, would I theoretically potentially knock important things over?
I mean, you could. I mean, it would be pretty hard to knock like the whatever over. I would allow you to give this a shot, and see if it like, because it's basically a 60-foot long line of like strong wind, and it could possibly like push them out of that area. If they catch you doing it though, it's going to be considered combat.
And they may call to greater powers that they're guarding them for. Well,
They might decide that's an act of violence and then attack you. Kind of up to you how you want to handle it.
nah, it's midnight. This is their home turf. I don't want to.
Home
Go to
turf. I
battle.
thought we said that they weren't very good warriors.
Right, but they know this place by heart, man.
True.
And they have
think we
potential
can-
backup ready to go.
We think we can incapacitate them quickly enough.
My vote will always be for violence.
Yeah, should we just battle these fuckers?
Sure, let's do your gust of wind and let's see if we can make a break for it. If they start trying to attack us, our goal is to just get inside of this mausoleum thing. Maybe you can even sneak over before we do our gust of wind and make sure that the doors are locked.
Oh yeah, that
If
was
they are locked,
Oh, yeah.
you can try and pick them or whatever.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah. Roll a stealth check for me. Roll it at advantage because you're wearing your boots too.
Yes.
Is it Rowena?
Yeah.
That spell though, Zunis.
Ooh, our invisibility cloak is no longer good. Is Bethany with us? Or did she
No, Bettany stayed behind.
was working on a robot dog?
She wanted to stay with her dad.
I got 28.
Yeah, you're invisible. Like, people can't see you for shit. You do manage to sneak past all the Kenku. They don't notice. You do notice as you get closer to them, they're not really guarding the door anymore. They feel like all of you have left and gone to another one. So they've all kind of dispersed a bit. But if you walked in that area, they might see you again. You get the sense your friends might be able to sneak past them and just get into this space based on how they've dispersed. But the gate to this area is locked.
Okay. I'd like to. I assume if I try and shout back to my friends, I'll raise the alarm.
You are still hidden, though, so you are stealthed. If you want to try to pick it, you can use your thief tools with it.
Oh yeah, I'd like to pick it.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a dexterity check for me, and you're gonna add your proficiency bonus and your dexterity bonus. So for you, just click on that dexterity modifier +3. And then you're also going to add your proficiency bonus, which I think for you is +3 as well. So, roll that dexterity and add 3 more to it.
23.
Yeah. So you just, and it just easily and silently opens up in the gate, just so slightly, but you grab it so it doesn't make a huge noise. You kind of slowly open it enough for you to fit in. You can maybe gesticulate a little bit and let your team know that they can start coming if they want to try to sneak past the Kenku as well, we can try the gust of wind technique and blow them all somewhere else and see if that gives you enough time to get in there.
I say gust of wind is last ditch effort.
Yeah.
To try sneak. Let's sneak, and then if we fail, okay.
So is everyone going to try to sneak in? If you so, go ahead and roll stealth checks for me. Just remember for Thad, and I think Ivo, you do it at disadvantage. I'm not certain.
Is
7, did you say?
I got a 9.
I got
Why
an
does
11.
Wouldn't a robot not really have to deal with human variant? Do everything exactly the same.
He's not quite a robot. He still has some mechanics he has to deal with. But you guys got really lucky. The Kenku do not notice you as they're paying attention to other things. I've rolled worse than you on their perception checks.
Oh, fantastic.
So you did actually manage to get to that space, and you enter into this new area of the cemetery. And this area looks a little bit different than the rest. Let me load it up for you here. So you do see that it's a little bit blocked off. There are several ones. In this particular space, you see that there are tombstones kind of in all different areas, a bunch of different things. As you enter the space, you can kind of tell that there is one dominating stone structure, although it's still kind of small compared to the other mausoleums. It's a smaller stone space with like gray stone. Even from afar, though, you can see that this mausoleum is carved much differently than the other ones. But the other ones use a lot of like humanoid artwork, structures, statues, like there's celestial beings and demons and things painted on them. This one is much more abstract and geometric. You see these sharp angles kind of meet into curved lines, and there is a polished stone path that leads up to it from where you are, from the entrance all the way to it. Are you guys heading in that direction, or are you going to try to do something else here?
Where are we at exactly?
So you're entering from the southern area.
DM, where are we exactly on this?
I'll mark it here for you. So in red, you came in from the space at the bottom.
What's the big old thing straight ahead from us?
It's a statue, and it is a statue of a person, but the person is, again, less realistic and more abstract. It's mostly angular. The dude is faceless. There is no discernible face.
For symbology and for Zatsurai, it seems like the place.
Yeah, especially given the like
a good
wrought
point.
iron fence you walked through that clearly had the spirals of the symbol that you saw.
Shall we start investigating?
Let's investigate.
So you go through. As you walk up into this mausoleum, you do follow this stone polished path that leads to it. There is it's like a small half gate kind of closing the mausoleum, but it is open. And not locked, but as you kind of like put your hand on it to open it, you actually see that the last tile before it leads into the inside of the mausoleum, which you can see from the inside is still pretty small. There doesn't seem to be anything inside of it. There's a couple sarcophagi on each side. There is an inscription inlaid in bronze on the tile, and it says, and I'm going to give you a little drawing as well.
But
where are you? Empty grid. It says, I am infinite, but my beginnings are here. And then right below that inscription, it has a circle with a line cut through it. So it looks like this. Imagine a perfect circle, because my drawing is terrible. And the line directly through the middle.
Interesting.
That's on the floor.
It's on the floor, leading into the mausoleum, and the mausoleum is open. You can go in it. Can you roll a who's going in first? Actually, just so I know.
I will go in first.
I'll go in.
Can you roll a perception check for me, Rowena and Dent, as you enter this space?
$22.
And then Dent, what'd you get?
10.
10. You actually both see this. As you go in, it's a pretty empty space. There's not a lot here. It's a little bit dusty. Like, it doesn't look like anything has moved for long. There's, some vases and things that are brought into a typical mausoleum. Nothing really seems to stand up at you. The only thing that really seems extra in this space, or like a little bit more flashy, there are 2 sarcophaguses built into the walls on either side. Rowena, you see, though, on one of the sarcophaguses on the side of it, in fact, let me see if I can show you. You see that there are 4 symbols of the Erzatsarai next to each other in evenly spaced out segments. But they seem to be modified, and I'm going to show you a little bit of what that looks like. Give me 1 second. Okay, so let's put that here. I'm going to put it in the chat here. So it looks like that. Let me know if you can see that well.
Interesting.
Yes.
Around the edges of these 4, you can tell these are kind of like they're 3-dimensional as well. They're almost embossed, so they stick out a bit, like almost by a good like 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch. And you can see that around them is like a empty space, so it almost looks like you can push these in.
Shall we try and push these in?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
He's kind of hinting at it.
Do it.
Almost like.
Almost like you can.
I'll tell you what to do. Yeah. Please just do it.
Joke's on you. I actually already told you what to do. It just depends on if you got it or not.
Ooh.
Oh, do we have to push them in order? Team? Maybe the one with the 1 swirl, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4.
Sure.
I agree.
All right, let's do it. Let's each take one, except for Dent, because he doesn't have opposable thumbs.
So which ones are you pushing?
Zunis, you do one. That seems symbolic and such, because you came from the Underdark.
We'll
So Zunis,
hit the second symbol.
you push the second one? Okay. So you push in the second one, and it pulls in, and it stops there. And all of a sudden, you just see, like, from the top of the mausoleum, like almost a sudden just, and a piece of stone falls through. And I need everyone to roll initiative, and that's actually where we're gonna stop. Yeah, we'll pick up where we leave off next time. But you get the sense you just triggered an alarm.
Way to go, Zunis.
I got 13.
You guys just put it on me at the last second.
Zunis, really
Way to
big
go,
mistake.
Zunis!
Big
Way to
mistake.
go.
I got a 12.
We'll pick up from there next time.
Do you need to know our initiative rolls?
No, we'll pick that up on the next one. Yeah, you get the sense that you triggered something you probably didn't want to trigger, as this space opens up, and almost immediately you are beset by something.